The smaller Nine Tails, if you don't consider its terrifying chakra, it looks a bit soft and cute. Damn it, it has limited so much. Nine Tails looked at her body and felt a little dissatisfied. No way, your chakra is too strong. I have to add more seals, but it is easy for you to break the seal. Kuan Yu still left the tail beasts with a little autonomy, which is why Ji Fu first trusted Kuan Yu. But it's better not to do this, my base can't bear your huge body. Kuan Yu said with a smile. Huh. Nine Tails rolled her head unhappy. Kuan Yu ignored it either, but looked at Minato. Senior Minato, what plans do you have next? If I join our Sky Council, I can bring you back to life. As a friend of Naruto, it's okay to help him. Of course, it is also to strengthen the Sky Council. Minato's flying thunder god Kuan Yu has been personally experienced and it is quite easy to use. The distance between countries' connections can be shortened. Minato lost Nine Tails and nothing has changed, after all, he is already dead. Resurrection. Well, forget it, I'm already dead, and I might not be able to adapt to it if I live again. Minato was stunned for a moment. He knew that the resurrection Kuan Yu was talking about was probably the real resurrection. Considering Kuan Yu's strength, he might indeed have the ability to revive himself. But he didn't want to be resurrected, it was enough to know that Naruto was okay. I don't plan to look at Naruto more. He had a miserable life when he was a child after losing his parents. Sometimes he couldn't even afford to eat. Kuan Yu said with a smile. Minato frowned. How is this going? Hey, how long do you guys have to talk about? Nine Tails said, dissatisfied with her hand. It seems that it has no patience to continue to stay in this small space. Well, let's go out and say. Kuan Yu waved his hand and they went out of space to the outside world. My clone will take you to Isofu. Kuan Yu stood up while practicing. Nine Tails glanced at Kuan Yu's clone, then jumped directly on his shoulder. The clone did not speak, and left here with Nine Tails. Kuan Yu, Naruto is my son. How could it be so miserable? I didn't let third generation. Minato said to Kuan Yu anxiously. Even if third generation did not take good care of Naruto, he still has a legacy. Naruto cannot even eat food. And he is fourth Hokage, his son shouldn't be treated like this, right? It's the reason for third generation. Do you know why I didn't ask Konoha to join the Sky Council? This is also because of third generation, Kuan Yu said with a sneer. This. Minato didn't understand, it seemed that Kuan Yu was at odds with third generation. This old man has a big heart. I don't know if you have seen it when you have been Hokage for a while, Kuan Yu did not say directly, but asked Minato instead. Kuan Yu originally thought that after third generation, he would choose to spend the rest of his life in peace, but now it seems that is not the case. Kuan Yu could not be concealed from the content of their previous meetings, and the third generation statement made him a little bit chilly. He regretted saving third generation. Some of third generation's methods are indeed improper, but they are all for Konoha, Minato said hesitantly. It seems that you still don't understand why he did this. Don't talk about Danzo, but he transplanted Sharingan and first generation cells. These things are enough to ruin him. What? Minato was startled. Kuan Yu ignored Minato's surprise. You know, Naruto was always scolded as a demon fox when he was a child, and he chose to let it go. Uchiha Annihilation and Uzumaki Annihilation have something to do with him, and the decline of the Senju clan he did little to help. Kuan Yu paused. I have good reason to doubt his true purpose for doing this. Kuan Yu's voice was a little cold. Third generation's recent attitude has disappointed him a bit. He has repeatedly used his relationship with Konoha, really thinking that he dare not make a move? Minato was silent. Kuan Yu said this obviously with direct evidence, but he still didn't believe that Isshin would do such an excessive thing for Konoha. Kuan Yu saw that Minato was silent, and continued. I can just deal with him right now, but he is also my teacher's teacher, I hope he repents, but. Hehe. Maybe there is some misunderstanding, Minato said hurriedly. He knew that it was easy to destroy Konoha with Kuan Yu's current strength, let alone deal with a third generation. These things can't be explained clearly by misunderstandings. Since he came to power, what he has done is not to cut the party and cut differences. The reason why he cares about Konoha so much is because he has long regarded Konoha as his own. Minato's complexion changed. Kuan Yu's statement almost negated everything third generation did. After watching for so long, Kuan Yu also understood a little bit, and had a more intuitive understanding of the purpose of third generation. He has weakened all the families that Konoha can weaken, and he is obviously so old that he still occupies Hokage's position. Instead of choosing a more suitable Jiraiya or Tsunade. And the death of Konoha's White Fang's teeth is also inseparable from him. He blatantly slandered a Hokage heir, and he didn't believe that there would be no connivance of third generation among them. What makes people even more concerned is that the 3 disciples of Sarutobi Asuma are the heirs of the 3 major families of Ino-Shika-cho. The disciple of his girlfriend Red is the heir of the Hyuga, Inazuka, and Aburame clan. These families are almost the most powerful families except for the Sarutobi family. In addition, he also let people from major families join the ninja school. What is he going to do? Unify Konoha is fine, but let Konoha be your Sarutobi clan. And the methods are too dark. When are you going to fix this? Minato said solemnly. He knew that Kuan Yu told himself this, and he was not going to let third generation go. I heard that he recently returned Hokage's position to my teacher, so I give him a chance. After I get rid of Uchiha Madara, I will talk to him. Kuan Yu thought for a while and said, he always felt that it was impossible for third generation to give up like this. If after this period of time, he raises his own old man with peace of mind, Kuan Yu takes away the Hashirama cells and Sharingan from his body at most. Otherwise, he doesn't think third generation is capable of resisting him. Well, let's not talk about it. What are you going to do with Naruto? Kuan Yu said directly. I still don't want to interfere with his life. With a friend like you, he shouldn't have any problems. I'm not a qualified father, Minato said with a complicated expression. You know, I'm giving you this chance to resurrect because of Naruto's face. I won't resurrect anyone in the future, Kuan Yu said while looking at Minato. There are no longer a few who have a relationship with Kuan Yu, and he can't let them all have a long life. If anyone can be resurrected, then the world will not be messed up. Kuan Yu has restrained himself very much, maybe even immortality is a burden to him. Longevity is not as beautiful as it seems. Thank you Kuan Yu, but some things are better not to be restored. Things that are too easy to get are not so precious. I think Naruto will understand this, Minato said with a smile. It seems that he really doesn't care about the resurrection, which makes Kuan Yu appreciate it very much. Minato is a pure person. Yes, things that are too easy to get always make people feel less real, Kuan Yu said thoughtfully. Isn't it that he can make it to the sky in one step, but he wants to cultivate hard by himself. Maybe Kuan Yu himself wants to find a sense of reality in this world. However, this world is still very interesting, even if it is a big dream. Kuan Yu quickly figured it out. I'm sure I don't see Naruto. He may not know the existence of a father like you. Isn't it too cruel? Kuan Yu said with a smile. This. Minato hesitated. Kuan Yu looked at Minato who was hesitant, grabbed Minato's hand and pulled him into the space. Summoning produced a toad from Mount Myoboku. I will take you to Mount Myoboku. I just want to go there too. Kuan Yu said directly. Using summoning from his space, Kuan Yu has the ability to go back to Mount Myoboku. Minato hesitated, then nodded. Give me some chakra. Kuan Yu smiled, and the chakra in his body instantly transferred to Minato's body. Minato can feel a large amount of chakra in his body. He is not surprised at this. Kuan Yu can even resurrect, so what else can he not do? He quickly formed the seal in his hand, and then pressed it on the ground. Bang! A burst of smoke exploded, and a toad the size of a person appeared here. Kuan Yu closed his eyes. Found it, Kuan Yu pulled Minato and instantly disappeared in this space. Also disappearing at the same time was the toad that had just appeared. Kuan Yu and them instantly appeared on a piece of land with dense vegetation. Here, the place should be right, Kuan Yu said after looking around. But the toad that was summoned by Minato was a little confused. Wasn't he summoned just now? Why did he return to Mount Myoboku? And who are these 2 people in front of you? Who are you? It said. Don't care who I am, take us to see Shenzuo, Kuan Yu said lightly. In a hall, an old toad opened his eyes. Are you here? I didn't expect it to be this time. Then it closed its eyes. The toad just wanted to say something, but immediately shut up. Please come with me. After saying, it jumped forward together. Minato was taken aback. They should have rushed in. Why did this toad show them the way? Don't doubt, someone knows we are coming, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Then he walked slowly forward with the toad. Minato didn't know why he followed. It didn't take long for them to meet Shenzo who rushed over. Master Kuan Yu is here, and if you miss a long distance, Shenzuo jumped to a place not far from Kuan Yu and saluted. Shenzuo is a small green toad with white hair and beard and a cloak. Master Shenzuo. Minato was startled. He was surprised by Shenzuo's attitude towards Kuan Yu. It was impossible for him to fail to see such an obvious low profile. It turned out to be Minato. I didn't expect you to be resurrected by Master Kuan Yu, Shenzuo said with a smile. Okay. Take us to see Naruto, Quan Yu said. Master Quan Yu, please, Toad Sage wants to see you, I don't know. Shenzuo said cautiously. He had heard of Quan Yu's horror from Jiraiya, and Toad Sage also attached great importance to it. Wait a minute. Let's go see Naruto first. I haven't seen Naruto for a long time, Quan Yu said lightly. Please, Shenzuo led Quan Yu and Minato to move forward. Although Minato had many doubts in his mind, he did not speak on the way. All he has is the tension of goodbye Naruto. I don't know how old Naruto has grown, Minato couldn't help but think slightly. When Quan Yu and the others saw Naruto, he was sitting cross-legged on the ground with a sad expression, while Jiraiya next to him was saying something. It seems that Jiraiya has also come to Mount Myoboku and should be here to appease Naruto. Naruto, this is for your good. It's dangerous outside now. Before Jiraiya finished speaking, his eyes suddenly swept away. What is good for me? I can go to Quan Yu's place, he can protect me, besides my strength is not weak. Naruto opened his eyes and looked at Jiraiya with some dissatisfaction. But he found that Jiraiya was looking to the side in shock. Hello, Mrs. Jiraiya, are you listening to me? Naruto, you are still so dull, Quan Yu's voice came. Naruto was taken aback, then turned his head and looked over. Quan Yu. Naruto rushed to Quan Yu's side with excitement and hugged him. Quan Yu looked speechless. Do you want to be so excited? I don't know whether a man is a man or not, but he has a fiancé. Quan Yu pushed Naruto's face away with disgust. I haven't come to Konoha to see me for so long. I heard that you have been doing pretty well recently, Naruto said with a grin. And Minato beside Quan Yu looked at Naruto quietly, but his eyes became very soft. Minato, I didn't expect Quan Yu to resurrect you, Jiraiya said with a sigh. It's been a long time, Mr. Jiraiya, Minato said with a smile. Hey, your name is Mr. Jiraiya, is it? Naruto turned his head and looked at Minato in surprise. I just think this person is so familiar. Are you my brother? Naruto ran to Minato and kept checking. Minato touched his head awkwardly. Ms. Jiraiya, don't tell me when you accepted the disciple, but I seem to have seen him there, where is it? Naruto touched his head and said. Hokage Rock, Quan Yu reminded him next to him. Yes, it's Hokage. Naruto was taken aback for a moment. You are fourth Hokage, Naruto pointed to Minato and said in disbelief. He even painted it when he was a kid. Naruto's seal has not been broken, and it is not known that Minato is his father. So young, tell me, is there any secret for you to be a Hokage? I will also be a Hokage in the future, Naruto said with a smile on Minato's shoulders. Quan Yu looked helpless. Naruto couldn't grasp a point at all. Didn't he realize that Minato has many similarities with him? For example, sky blue eyes, the same golden hair. If you don't pay attention to these, you should also pay attention to Quan Yu's resurrected Minato. Jiraiya didn't know how to explain to Naruto. Actually, Quan Yu was about to speak. Let me talk to Naruto, Minato interrupted Quan Yu and said with a smile. He now sees Naruto who is so active and he doesn't feel nervous. Yeah, Naruto kept nodding his head. It seemed that he was very concerned about the secret to becoming a Hokage, and even Quan Yu didn't care about it. He didn't know that as long as Quan Yu spoke, he could become Hokage right away. It's the kind of justifiable. Quan Yu stepped back a few steps. Shenzuo, take me to see Toad Sage, Quan Yu said indifferently. Their father-son exchanges really didn't matter to themselves. He didn't bother anymore. Okay, please follow me, Shenzuo nodded. Master Shenzuo? Jiraiya had a question mark on her face. Originally, he was very confused about Quan Yu coming to Mount Myoboku, but he didn't expect Quan Yu to meet Toad Sage. Jiraiya-sama, are you together? Quan Yu glanced at Minato who was talking to Naruto. Okay. Jiraiya noticed Quan Yu's gaze, and sighed in his heart. Shenzuo glanced at Jiraiya and didn't say anything. Quan Yu's decision, it can't stop it. Soon Shenzuo took the two to a hall. A huge old toad was lying leaning on the collapse in the depths of the hall with its eyes closed. I've been waiting for you to come to Mount Myoboku, Izumi, but I didn't expect you to come now. It opened its eyes and said. Hee, wouldn't you be able to predict why this is unexpected, Quan Yu said with a chuckle. Quan Yu. Jiraiya frowned. Don't mind, this is the attitude that a person like him should have, Toad Sage said calmly. It looked at Quan Yu. Your body is enveloped by a powerful force, even I can't see your future. I'm afraid it's not that you can't see clearly, but that the information you understand is not enough, Quan Yu said casually. Oh, it seems you know something. Toad Sage's tone didn't change at all. I know this. It's not surprising. The White Snake Immortal was forcing me to sign a contract before, and I knew there must be a problem. But it should be praying now. I don't want to go to it, Kuan Yu sneered on his face. This should be because it hadn't expected you to be so strong before, Toad Sage said lightly. Jiraiya listened to the conversation between them, somewhat inexplicable. However, it can be seen that Kuan Yu's strength may even be valued by Toad Sage. I've already let it go. This time I came to deal with Naruto's problem. I think Toad Sage should know what I want to do, Kuan Yu said with squinting eyes. Sorry, I can't do this, Toad Sage still said in his slow tone. Very good, a sword-like mark appeared on Kuan Yu's forehead. The surrounding natural energy was energized in a large amount and quickly flowed into Kuan Yu's body. I happen to be short of natural energy, don't mind if I absorb a little bit. Kuan Yu. Even if Sage Mode is not turned on, Jiraiya can feel the natural energy around him. It was terrifying. How did Kuan Yu endure this amount of absorption? And what exactly is Kuan Yu going to do? Please feel free, Toad Sage said indifferently. Kuan Yu sneered in his heart, I see when you can bear it. Natural energy rushes towards Kuan Yu like a stormy sea, and the natural energy here is too rich. Coupled with Kuan Yu's full absorption. In Kuan Yu's body, yin and yang were constantly produced and then disappeared. But the disappearing yin and yang escaped, but arrived in Kuan Yu's space. Then it disappeared. Soon 10 minutes passed, and Kuan Yu's absorption continued. After half an hour passed, Kuan Yu still didn't stop. However, Kuan Yu's space has changed, and the space is slowly expanding. What an endurance is this? Jiraiya's expression turned horrified. Although he knows that Kuan Yu is very strong and has mastered Shanshu, such endless absorption of natural energy is too terrifying. The deep work beside him also shed cold sweat, and he could feel the natural energy more clearly than Jiraiya. The natural energy in a large area was mobilized, rushing crazily toward Kuan Yu. Good place. Don't mind if I practice here until I fight Uchiha Madara, after all, this is for the ninja world, Kuan Yu smiled. What? Shenzo exclaimed. If Kuan Yu has been absorbing like this for more than a year, then Mount Myoboku can't afford it either. Natural energy will drop drastically, which will directly affect the ecology here, and even the survival of toads is a problem. It's not that we are unwilling, but that we have lost our help. It is impossible for Naruto to master the magic, and we have no malice, Toad Sage said. Of course it knew what Kuan Yu of the same Master Shanshu was talking about. It doesn't matter whether Naruto is master or not, the key is that you left something on Naruto, Kuan Yu said with a sneer. Something? Jiraiya was puzzled. You too. Kuan Yu's eyes appeared with 10 blue stars. The vision directly penetrated Jiraiya's body. Hee, I saw it, it turned out to be this. A purple light appeared from Kuan Yu's hand. It penetrated Jiraiya's body in an instant. Jiraiya's face became horrified, he didn't know why Kuan Yu wanted to kill himself. Shen Zuo also looked shocked. But Kuan Yu's hand quickly came out, and Jiraiya's body was also intact. Am I going to die? Why can't I feel any pain? Jiraiya was a little dazed. Hey, the elusive will. This is the key to their master's natural energy, no wonder their Sage Mode has the characteristics of a toad. The natural energy absorbed by your will of course bring your own attributes. Kuan Yu flicked his hand, and a small yellow ball appeared in his hand. Just like Kuan Yu, his yin will also absorb natural energy, but the speed of blessing without shaping will be much slower. And Naruto's ability to absorb natural energy does not come from themselves at all. Everything is controlled by Toad Sage. The speed of Naruto Master Sage Mode is amazing. It was Kuan Yu's first practice of immortal art after sitting cross-legged for several days before he felt the natural energy. Even if Naruto opened, Kuan Yu didn't think he would be worse than Naruto at that time. Your Excellency Kuan Yu, the understanding of yin and yang escape is indeed amazing, and he can achieve this level, Toad Sage said lightly. As if nothing can arouse its surprise. Just now Kuan Yu directly used yin and yang to energize his arm, and then directly penetrated Jiraiya's body. I grabbed what Lan Shixing's eyes saw, but I didn't expect it to be the will to escape. Kuan Yu. What did you do to me? Jiraiya touched her body and said in amazement. It's just taking away your fairy skills, Kuan Yu said with a smile. What? Jiraiya's eyes widened in shock. Can something like Shanshu be taken away? I didn't control them. This level of evasive will is not enough to control their bodies, said Toad Sage. No, the amount is too small, but it can be done by collecting information, Kuan Yu sneered. It can be done by affecting their consciousness a little bit. This is for their good, they need to guide, Toad Sage said lightly. This is the meaning of Sage of Six Paths, it finally said the name. It knew that Kuan Yu wouldn't just let it go. Sage of Six Paths. It's interesting that he hasn't shown up for so long and just watched his two sons call back and forth, Kuan Yu said disdainfully. Toad Sage was silent for a moment. Obviously Kuan Yu already knew something. The world is not as simple as you think. You mean Otsutsuki? How did you know? Toad Sage finally showed surprise. You don't have to worry about it. I am not prepared to be as passive as you. If they dare to come, they must be fully conscious of death, Kuan Yu sneered. As far as I know, Your Excellency Kuan Yu does not have the strength to compete with them. It's coming soon. The hall fell silent. Jiraiya is trying to perceive natural energy. Deep in the cold sweat, Kuan Yu was looking at each other with Toad Sage, one with confidence and one with calm. To be honest, anyone who can master the yin and yang escape will not be weak. But it also depends on the application method. Kuan Yu has blue 10-star eyes, and the application method is undoubtedly much stronger than these toads. This is the source of Kuan Yu's self-confidence. Even the white snake immortal who didn't know his strength dared to face the provocation without changing his face. But soon it won't be anymore. He has to rely on his body and the control of the yin and yang and the 5 elements to gain stronger strength. Kuan Yu is also curious about how the master of Toad Sage escapes from yin and yang. After all, it does not have eyes similar to himself and a body derived from the Otsutsuki clan. The only peculiar thing is that it has always maintained Sage mode, including the previous white snake fairy. Kuan Yu could perceive the natural energy slowly entering its body. The Jiraiya next to him was a little frustrated. He really couldn't perceive the natural energy. Kuan Yu had deprived him of the immortal technique he had cultivated for so long. I can teach you the orthodox fairy art, but the difficulty of the human master will be very high. Kuan Yu glanced at Jiraiya and said. It's comforting Jiraiya. Jiraiya didn't feel happy after listening to Kuan Yu's words. He knew the difficulty of cultivating immortal arts. It was difficult to practice again, even more difficult than before. He also heard the conversation between Kuan Yu and Toad Sage, knowing that he wouldn't be able to practice immortality without the help of Toad Sage. Kuan Yu shook his head. In fact, practicing immortality is the process of turning oneself into a stone. When human beings have no thoughts or desires and emotions, mental fluctuations are the most suitable for natural energy. The difference between becoming a stone and cultivating a fairy is whether you can control the natural energy while absorbing it. But it is more difficult to become an immortal completely. It is impossible for humans to maintain that state forever. They can only make the fairy chakra by themselves and absorb it after use. Otherwise they can't fight at all, or they can't even move their bodies. Natural energy is like the spiritual energy in cultivating immortals, and chakra is the true essence. The difference is that the state of Shanshu chakra cannot be maintained for a long time, and it will automatically dissolve when the time comes. Unless they separate part of their consciousness like Kuan Yu and reduce their mental fluctuations, they can always absorb natural energy. Kuan Yu was taken aback for a moment, as if his idea could really be achieved. For example, use Shadow Clone to seal Shadow Clone in the body, allowing Shadow Clone to continuously absorb natural energy to maintain the absorption of natural energy. Isn't this really a cultivator? This is simply creating an infant. Kuan Yu was also shocked by this idea. He thought carefully about the possibility of this idea. It is completely possible. Naruto's Shadow Clone can absorb natural energy, if the Shadow Clone is sealed in the body like a tail beast. Isn't there a clone that can always absorb natural energy? But Shadow Clone can't last long, and there are not so many chakras to synthesize the fairy chakra all the time. This requires a certain change, and the sealing technique is fine. As long as the Shadow Clone is connected to the body, and the independence is maintained, all of this can be solved. Ha ha ha. That's the case. It turns out that this is Shushin. Kuan Yu laughed loudly, his words full of excitement. His body was suspended. A large amount of blue yin and yang gushed out of his forehead, and then it turned into exactly the same shape as Kuan Yu. It's just that the whole body is pure blue. Toad Sage and others have some doubts. What exactly is Kuan Yu going to do? What seems to be almost? Kuan Yu thought. But his heart moved quickly. Reaching out his hand on Yin Yang Dunge's body a little bit, and suddenly this clone opened its eyes. This is the same blue 10-star eye as Kuan Yu. You can even use the power of these eyes like Kuan Yu. There is no difference between the two. According to the truth, this is impossible. Even the avatar formed by Yin Yang escape cannot fully exert the power of the blue 10-star eye, but Kuan Yu really did it. It turned out that he transferred the special will that was originally integrated with the soul into this clone, which even meant that Kuan Yu had separated a part of the soul. But there is a connection between the two, so it did not cause any harm to Kuan Yu. Instead, he got a clone with the same power as himself. The elder toad sage saw something, but he was a little puzzled why Kuan Yu did this. I think natural energy, or chakra, can greatly extend people's lifespan, right? Kuan Yu said with a smile while looking at Toad Sage. Yes, we can live so long because of this, but it is almost impossible for humans to maintain sage mode for a long time. Toad Sage did not hide anything. It is very curious why Kuan Yu asked this, but I found a way for humans to maintain this state forever. Kuan Yu smiled. Humans can also become real immortals. Kuan Yu's avatar formed by the yin and yang escape turned into one point, and flew back to the center of his eyebrows. What? Shen Zuo was a little unbelievable. Do you use a clone? Your Excellency really has ideas, but not everyone can do it like Your Excellency, said Toad Sage indifferently. Although it is not clear how Kuan Yu has maintained sage mode, it is impossible for ordinary people to do it. After the avatar of yin-yang escape returned to Kuan Yu's body, the imprint of the immortal on Kuan Yu's forehead slowly diminished, leaving a faint eyeshadow in the end. And only the diamond-shaped logo of 100 Healings mark remains on the forehead. When he uses Shanshu, he doesn't need to separate a part of his will to control the decomposition of natural energy and the creation of Shanshu chakra. His clone has already done it for him. And he only needs to control chakra, the fairy technique in his body, which undoubtedly greatly increases Kuan Yu's control ability. As for the clone, you only need to keep creating chakra for Kuan Yu, and don't care about other things. Not necessarily. I have always been curious about the cause of your master's sullen will, but I now know that chakra can nurture the soul and give birth to that unique will. And then the yin-yang escape that is decomposed by this will can also nurture the soul and form that unique will, but the yin-yang escape is significantly faster. The time for Kuan Yu to acquire this kind of will is too short, and he can't find the growth of this kind of will at all. Think about how long it took Uchiha Madara to evolve such a special will in order to use yin and yang to escape Rinnegan? And how long did Kuan Yu get yin and yang escape? That's right, Kuan Yu's Lan Shixing also had that kind of will in his eyes, but it was solidified in it. In other words, this will is the key to Sharingan's evolution, not the so-called yin and yang escape. In other words, the power of Senluo Wanxiang. And chakra can make people live longer, which also gives humans time to acquire this will. And Kuan Yu's discovery directly pushed the ninja civilization to the Shushan civilization. I'm right, Big Toad Sage. Kuan Yu looked at this Big Toad Sage with a smile. Toad Sage was silent. It didn't expect Kuan Yu to discover this, and even Kuan Yu's method was something it had never thought of before. Oh, do you want to establish a fairy sect? Toad Sage said with a sigh. Yes, this is more interesting. This world is too boring. A group of frogs at the bottom of the well are fighting there. I want to see a wider world. Kuan Yu revealed excitement in his eyes. He knew what the great Toad Sage meant. He finally found something in the original world. How not excited he was, he wanted to completely change the world. Toad Sage did not pay attention to Kuan Yu's insulting remarks. Kuan Yu in front of him, his groundbreaking ideas, let the world embark on another road, an unknown road. You have asked what you need to ask. Let's go, Big Toad Sage said with his eyes closed. Well, then I will leave, Kuan Yu said with a smile. This is enough, but these things will not be implemented until he defeats Uchiha Madara. The problem of the exercise method also needs time to consider. Otherwise, if you only rely on your own qualifications to absorb natural energy, this requirement is too high. Many people fail to meet this requirement. Kuan Yu wanted to create a new era, not to make a few people live a powerful force. The original method of cultivating immortal arts was too demanding, and he doubted how many people could do it. Let's go. There is a better way to become a fairy. Kuan Yu glanced at Jiraiya of Chii and left directly. Jiraiya glanced hesitantly at Toad Sage, who closed his eyes and then left. Big Toad Sage, if Kuan Yu does this, is it a great threat to us? Shen Zuo-kan. Kuan Yu left and said to Toad Sage. We can't stop him, but he is not evil himself, just let him go, Big Toad Sage said. Kuan Yu is ready to further start an age of immortals after the Ninzong created by Sage of Six Paths. If he does, his achievements can be compared or even surpassed Sage of Six Paths. Toad Sage sighed in his heart. In fact, apart from physical weakness, Toad Sage hasn't weakened much. The existence of that kind of will, even if it dies, the soul may not go to the Pure Land. But its power is still not as good as Kuan Yu, and it can't stop Kuan Yu at all. The same is true for Sage of Six Paths, but he gave up his physical body and chose to use his will to see everything that happened in this world. I don't know why he did this. Now that Sage of Six Paths comes out, it may not be possible to stop Kuan Yu. It's not so beautiful for more people to practice immortality, and it's not just that human beings have gained stronger powers that will bring disputes. There is also natural energy that cannot support too many people to absorb, and this planet may be absorbed by these people. Kuan Yu didn't know what Toad Sage was thinking, and even sneered at it. If there is no natural energy, look for it, and before the natural energy here is absorbed, humans may have the ability to go to other worlds. But these are not what Kuan Yu wants to do, it is to create a civilization of cultivation. The other Kuan Yu didn't care, because there was no natural energy, it would be fine if you didn't cultivate immortals, and you could live as you please. People cannot stop progressing because they are still afraid of the consequences of progress. Kuan Yu soon found Minato and Naruto, who had a good chat. It seems that Minato didn't tell Naruto that he was Naruto's father. Now that he understood Minato's idea, Kuan Yu wouldn't destroy it. Maybe Minato wanted Naruto not to be sad because of his departure. Naruto, we are going back, Kuan Yu said. He didn't want to take Naruto away at this time. Even Madara couldn't summoning out the 9 tails sealed in Naruto's body in Mount Myoboku. He remembers that in the original book Madara tried summoning to get the 9 tails in Naruto's body. Naruto's current strength is not enough to suppress 9 tails. So fast. Naruto stroked his head blankly. When I defeat Madara, you can come to me, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Half of 9 tails is enough. Kuan Yu doesn't really need the 9 tails in Naruto right now. But during this time, you should also practice well. I have reserved a seat for you as a member of the Diet. If your strength is too weak, you can't do it, Kuan Yu continued. Ah, my dream is to be Hokage, Naruto said dissatisfied. When Hokage is only recognized by Konoha, and when a member is recognized by the ninja world, you bear more responsibility. Naruto, you have to work hard, Minato said with a smile. That's it, then I must work hard. Naruto's expression returned in a blink of an eye. Obviously, the goal of gaining the approval of the ninja world is even bigger. Sasuke has made great progress with me, so don't lose to him. If you still have celestial arts, don't practice for the time being. I will teach you another kind of celestial arts later. Kuan Yu thought for a while, if Naruto doesn't go out, he doesn't need to take out the will to escape from Naruto now. I won't lose to Sasuke, but why can't I practice immortality? Naruto said suspiciously. Listen to Kuan Yu. This is for your own good, Jiraiya said helplessly. Okay, I'll say hello to 9 tails, and I will leave later. Kuan Yu's eyes flashed, and he entered Naruto's sealed space. Don't come here specially, I already know, 9 tails said, lying on the ground. Alright, Naruto troubles you. Kuan Yu left after speaking. It seems that 2 9 tails can exchange wills with each other, or that their wills are connected. Kuan Yu's entry was also unnecessary. After bidding farewell to Naruto and Jiraiya, Kuan Yu took Minato back to the Sky City through his own space. Have you decided? Kuan Yu looked at Minato and said. It's decided. Naruto will know after unlocking the seal, Minato said with a smile. Well, go all the way well, Kuan Yu shook his head. Minato didn't want to resurrect Kuan Yu and there was nothing he could do. Kuan Yu pressed his hand on Minato, and suddenly the yin and yang escaped from Minato was pulled away by Kuan Yu and transferred to the space. Naruto troubles you. Minato's body gradually blurred, and finally disappeared completely, leaving only the voice echoing here. Kuan Yu sighed. I'll continue to practice. Kuan Yu slowly left here. Kuan Yu's practice continued, but this time with the help of 9 tails, the speed was even faster. I thought that I could practice until the moment I played against Madara, but he soon had to stop practicing. I said, Chuanyu boy, you are pumping too hard, right? 9 tails, who had endured for a long time, finally broke out. He only now knew why Gifu ran away when he saw Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu's drawing method, even if it was 9 tails, could not bear it. Do me a favor, you have recently absorbed more natural energy to supplement, my time is too tight, Kuan Yu said helplessly. Tail beasts generally do not take the initiative to absorb natural energy, so they recover so slowly. It is more uncomfortable than killing it to help it with its lazy temperament and let it take the initiative to absorb natural energy. The other tail beasts are similar. Otherwise, with the size of the tail beast, it would be impossible to recover so slowly. Kuan Yu absorbs natural energy faster than them. Kuan Yu doesn't believe that they will absorb it very slowly, but simply doesn't want to move. Kuan Yu's time flow rate is not controlled very high, it is only about 10 times. But it needs 9 tails to stay in its own space all the time. 9 tails also knows that if Kuan Yu's strength does not increase quickly, their fate will only be swallowed by 10 tails. Those who had promised Kuan Yu before, now only pinch his nose to admit it. Then Kuan Yu began to practice again, but it didn't take long before Bai ran out of the space, looking anxious. After Kuan Yu noticed it, she was a little confused, but she still took 9 taels and left the space. Except for Madara, there seems to be no trouble recently. Madara is definitely afraid to do it. Is Rinnegan still in his hands? So what is it that makes Bai so anxious? Bai, what's the matter? Kuan Yu asked as soon as he left the space. Kuan Yu, bloodline ninjas in each village have disappeared one after another, and the 4 shadows have arrived at the Sky Council, Bai said hurriedly. Bloodline ninja? Kuan Yu was taken aback, as if thinking of something. Take me over, Kuan Yu said with a frown. 9 taels is lying on the spot. Judging from the flow of natural energy around it, it is absorbing natural energy to replenish itself, otherwise it will be absorbed by Kuan Yu sooner or later. The matter related to the bloodline ninja should be related to that person. But knowing that Kuan Yu would come forward, why would he still dare to make a move? Bai soon brought Kuan Yu to the conference room. The 4 shadows in the conference room stood up when they saw Kuan Yu coming over. Sit down, everyone. Kuan Yu walked to the main seat and sat down and said. Can you tell me the specific situation? Everyone hesitated. Originally, we didn't want to disturb your cultivation, but this has happened in almost every village, and we can't find out who it is. The other party's behavior is very secretive. We suspect that it might be Madara, Gaara said. This is the other village that Gaara found to be contacted unnaturally. As a result, this situation also appeared in other villages, so they came to find Kuan Yu. Yeah, one person disappeared before, but he actually reappeared later. We are very worried that he will act again, Terumi Mei said. No, it was not done by Madara. I think this should have something to do with Konoha's renunciation called Hiruho, Kuan Yu said, rubbing his chin. He always felt that this matter was not so simple. He didn't believe that Bei Luhu didn't realize his own power. And it seems that the losses in each village are not a small number, even Bai Luhu can't use that much, right? Wei Luhuo. Everyone was taken aback. They didn't expect Kuan Yu to have a clue so quickly, and it was so precise. By the way, how is Konoha's situation? Kuan Yu asked suddenly. According to the information I got, Konoha seems to have nothing to do, Onoki said with a daze. He is also seeking truth from facts, and he did not deliberately frame Konoha. After all, Kuan Yu and Konoha have a very close relationship. Then what are we waiting for? Go to Konoha to ask for an explanation. 4th Raikage stood up directly. Don't get excited, it's not that simple. Although that person was born in Konoha, he betrayed the village a long time ago. Kuan Yu calmed 4th Raikage. And that person is very confident that I can't find him, so I choose to shoot at this time, Kuan Yu continued. A few yin also felt a while. In front of Kuan Yu who possesses such a powerful force, he still dares to make a move. That person is indeed very confident. Bai, ask Shimoe for any clues. Kuan Yu always felt there was a problem. But he couldn't find it by himself. After all, it would take a lot of time to search the entire ninja world. Kuan Yu even hoped that the other party would jump out by himself. Are there any information about the missing persons, and the time when they disappeared? Kuan Yu asked. Yes. Gaara picked up the information in front of her and handed it to Kuan Yu. These were prepared when they communicated before. Kuan Yu took it and looked at it slowly. But the more I look at the brows, the more I frown. The missing bloodline ninja is almost different from the master's bloodline. The strength is not strong. Can Gui Loya technique use so much? This reminded him of the previous vision on the sun, whether the other party had already done it once. Kuan Yu looked at the earliest time when these bloodline ninjas disappeared. 5 of them disappeared some time before the discovery, and then after a while, a large number of them disappeared. Really performed the ceremony, Kuan Yu thought. But why continue to collect? Is it because you want Master to have all the bloodline? Kuan Yu put down the information. I read the information, but now I don't know the location of the other party at all. I hope that the villages can unite and find this person. Depending on the situation, he should be a very dangerous person. With so many bloodline ninjas, if the opponent absorbs all of them, the power they possess cannot be dealt with by ordinary ninjas. And after the bloodline is fused, how about the attributes of the 5 elements that make him really master? This Kuan Yu is also not clear, but he suspects that the other party's purpose is like this. But Kuan Yu is not afraid of him. The big deal is Master Truth-seeking Ball. Without a lot of chakra support, strong and limited. After this period of practice, Kuan Yu has already activated the 6th level of the Master. Give him some more time, and he will be able to reach the 7th level of activation and reach the peak of strength. It is no problem to contend with 6 Paths Madara. With his blue 10-star eyes, Kuan Yu is very confident. It is best for the other party to think that he has enough strength and take the initiative to jump out, then Kuan Yu will give him a big surprise. It's okay to unite, but the other party's whereabouts are too secret. It was okay before, and there are some clues, but later we only know that the person is missing, and the other party has no clues left, Fourth Raikage said. Then check from the other party's first action. You don't need to determine the specific location, just find the approximate range. I'll come forward to solve him, Kuan Yu said, squinting. The people at the scene looked at each other, as if there was only this way now. After all, there are too few clues left. Even if Kuan Yu is strong, he can't find the other party. And a ninja accompanying Fourth Raikage flashed his eyes. After that, the shadows of the villages left one after another, and Kuan Yu also went back to practice. After all, his strength is still a bit short. Let's go. 9 Tails, Kuan Yu said while looking at 9 Tails lying on the ground. Damn practice. But you seem to be having some trouble recently, 9 Tails scolded, turning her eyes. Why do you say that? Kuan Yu was taken aback. I just felt a huge amount of malice, but now it seems to be far away, 9 Tails said. Malicious. Stay away. Kuan Yu was startled. He suddenly thought of the shadows of the villages he had left before, and logically speaking, it should be impossible for them to have too strong malice against Kuan Yu. Even if there is, it is dissatisfaction at best. Is it possible that someone lurked in, and it was among the ninjas of the shadows in each village? Follow me. Take me to find him. Kuan Yu picked up 9 Tails and flew towards the sky. He wanted to find out the man before they left. He felt that this person must have something to do with the disappearance of the bloodline ninja. Hey, my uncle didn't say to help you. The voice of 9 Tails floated in the air. Kuan Yu's speed was so fast that he quickly caught up with Gaara's flying ship. Gaara was also taken aback when she saw Kuan Yu chasing her. Is Kuan Yu doing something? Gaara said while looking at Kuan Yu falling in the boat. 9 Tails, is there any? Kuan Yu looked at 9 Tails directly. No, 9 Tails said weakly. Gaara, I have something urgent, and I will explain to you later. Kuan Yu took 9 Tails and flew out quickly. Gaara was full of doubts. What happened to Kuan Yu? Master Feng Ying. The accompanying ninja interrupted Gaara's thinking. We revolving heaven. Gaara glanced at Kuan Yu, who quickly disappeared into the sky and said. Go back? The accompanying ninja was a little surprised. But Gaara knew that Kuan Yu was so anxious, something must have happened, he had to go back and see. Kuan Yu's speed is very fast, Terumi Mei and Onoki have already been there, and now only Fourth Raikage is left. Kuan Yu has consumed a lot of time to catch up with other people's flying boats. Fourth Raikage has gone a long way. Fortunately, Kuan Yu has already seen them, and there is nothing wrong with Fourth Raikage. Kuan Yu exploded in the air with extreme speed, accompanied by a burst of energy, and instantly disappeared into the sky. Instead, he wanted to see what the other person would look like when he saw him coming over, and even he had been concealed. This is mainly because it is impolite to look at someone's body casually, otherwise the other person would not hide it from him so easily. If this person dared to sneak into the Sky Council, it would have to pay a price. Even if he has mastered all the bloodlines and has been repaired to the 6 Paths mode, Kuan Yu has to make him look good. He has Shanshu and 9 Tails, and he will be crushed to death. Kuan Yu will not let a threat appear before he and Madara duel. Master Raikage, something is approaching us at high speed, a ninja exclaimed. Let me see. Fourth Raikage frowned and looked back. I saw a small black spot flying towards them quickly, and at a very fast speed. At this time, Fourth Raikage is already a little vague and can see the other side. Kuan Yu. What is he here? Fourth Raikage said puzzledly after seeing it clearly. However, a ninja behind him took 2 steps back slightly. Kuan Yu slowly landed on Fourth Raikage's ship holding 9 Tails. After Fourth Raikage discovered that it was Kuan Yu, he stopped. Kuan Yu. What are you doing? Fourth Raikage asked suspiciously. Obviously they just left not long. Someone sneaked into the Sky Council. 9 Tails, he is here, Kuan Yu said. Yes, no matter how well he hides, he can't hide his malice, 9 Tails said triumphantly, jumping on Kuan Yu's shoulder. Your Excellency, don't you want to come out? Kuan Yu squinted his eyes and glanced. Fourth Raikage was also shocked. Someone in their team sneaked in? Just when Fourth Raikage was about to find out who it was. Hee, I didn't expect to be discovered. A ninja looked at 9 Tails. What do you look at, Kuan Yu? I feel that there is something disgusting about him. Please be careful yourself, 9 Tails said uncomfortably. Kuan Yu nodded. He guessed that what Nine Tails was talking about might be Gui Loya. I don't care what your purpose is, but you can't escape today, Kuan Yu said while looking at the ninja. This is definitely not his true face. Haha, are you? Are you interested in a fight? I would like to see your strength and see how far I am from you. The ninja jumped directly out of the flying boat. He stood directly in the air like this. Everyone was surprised, including Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu knows what this means, and there is a high chance of 6 paths mode. Hehe, flying is not your right alone. This person saw the surprise on Kuan Yu's face. Kuan Yu's expression also became solemn. Kuan Yu saw the bloodline ninjas who were captured, but did not find bloodline with yin and yang attributes. How did the other party do this? He had planned for the worst before. However, this is not the time to think about this. Kuan Yu's body also floated out, facing the ninja. Hehe, after absorbing so much bloodline, let me see how strong your piecemeal power is, Kuan Yu sneered. Fourth Raikage's face changed. Back. He doesn't want to be affected, obviously this hidden person is not easy. But he still believes that Kuan Yu can win, after all, he has seen how strong Kuan Yu is. Kuan Yu stretched out his hand and pointed. A beam of light shot out immediately, shooting towards the ninja. The opposite person directly stretched out his hand to block, and Kuan Yu's beam of light immediately slammed into his hand. It seems to be blocked. Kuan Yu became a little interested. Through the strong light, he could see a small black semicircular shield appeared on the opponent's hand. Truth-seeking ball, that's right, Kuan Yu thought. But he was not too nervous. It's not that he has never seen truth-seeking ball, and he knows its nature. It's useless. Ninjutsu is not only useless for you, but also useless for me. The man withdrew his hand. From the outside, it seemed that he had blocked Kuan Yu's attack with his hand, but the truth-seeking ball did not show up. Really? Then try this, Kuan Yu stretched his fingers forward. A cube emitting a pale white light appeared. Then it swelled up quickly, and immediately wrapped the other party in it. The ninja narrowed his eyes and rushed to the side in an instant, trying to escape here. I want to escape, it's too late, Kuan Yu sneered. It is impossible for a truth-seeking ball to cover the whole body with at most 1 or 2 truth-seeking balls, and he does not yet have the absorption capacity of Rinnegan. Think you can act in front of him if you have some strength? The cube emits a dazzling white light, blurring everyone's vision. Wait for the white light to disappear. The man appeared in the distance a little embarrassed, one of his arms was broken. Hehe, continue to talk big. What ninjutsu is invalid, who do you think you are, Kuan Yu sneered. It's just a rubbish that I dare not even show my face, nothing but a rubbish that has power and doesn't know how to use it. Kuan Yu is humiliating the other party, and the other party knows that Kuan Yu knows the humiliation, but until now he hasn't shown his true colors. The identity of the other party is not so simple. Haha, Kuan Yu, I admit that you are strong, but you really think I will be afraid of you? The ninja didn't care about his disappearing right arm. There was no blood flowing there. Kuan frowned and healed? He can see the situation in the other side's wound. Kuan Yu's blue 10-star eyes opened, and his gaze directly penetrated the opponent's body. The other party frowned and immediately blocked Kuan Yu's sight. But Kuan Yu still saw something. So, no wonder you are so bold. This is just a puppet, Kuan Yu said with a sneer. But his heart sank. Can the puppet use truth-seeking ball? However, Kuan Yu saw a special substance in the opponent's body, it should be Gui Loya. And there is still a cloud of will to escape in the opponent's body, which Kuan Yu did not expect. This shows that the other party is probably not the person. Yes, this is a puppet, Kuan Yu, can you find me? Although the other party was a little surprised that Kuan Yu found out so quickly, he still said with a sneer. I think there will be many useful things on this corpse. After all, you didn't expect me to come. Kuan Yu stretched out his hand and the ninja was attracted by Kuan Yu. A cold light flashed on the other's face. When approaching Kuan Yu, a black stick stretched out from the remaining hand and immediately pierced Kuan Yu. Coupled with Kuan Yu's pull, the speed of this thorn is reaching its limit. But Kuan Yu didn't care, even if he knew that this black stick might have changed from truth-seeking ball. The black stick stabbed into the empty space. The stabbed part of Kuan Yu's body disappeared. The other party was startled, he didn't expect Kuan Yu to escape his attack like this. And Kuan Yu's hand is about to touch his neck. But he smiled coldly. A layer of black appeared on his neck in an instant. Kuan Yu grabbed it indifferently. Then his body slanted, around the black stick, his entire body appeared, and a knee bump was lifted on the opponent's stomach. Are you surprised? Why can I touch this thing you think you can't touch? Kuan Yu said in the ear of the other party. Kuan Yu has always been in sage mode, and of course he is not afraid of contact with truth-seeking ball. The opponent's eyes widened, and he couldn't believe it. Obviously, except for him, everyone else will be annihilated if they touch this thing. Why is Kuan Yu okay? He could feel the chakra in his body being pulled by the opponent, although he was trying his best to fight it. But it is still being absorbed. Kuan Yu, if you are good, then I will let you see other powers. A layer of pale black chakra quickly emerged from the opponent. Hey, this kind of chakra is Susanoo. Kuan Yu still didn't let go of the opponent's body. Sharingan, plus the ability to restore the body before. That's how it is, Kuan Yu said thoughtfully. I know who you are. Kuan Yu's eyes became a little cold. The other's eyes changed. The only ones who have both of these things are you, Chiba Madara, Orochimaru, and you. You really let me down. Kuan Yu narrowed his eyes, and the violent repulsion directly shattered the pale black chakra on the opponent's body. Madara won't do it at this time. Rinnegan is in Kuan Yu's hands, and he can't afford the price. Orochimaru is also a person on his side, and would not do this, and if it were Orochimaru, he would show his identity when Kuan Yu found him. He won't hide under such circumstances, it is very likely to show up directly. Let Kuan Yu take a good look at his achievements. The only thing that is so careful and has to keep covering up is third generation. He is the only one who values reputation in this way. Did you find out? Kuan Yu, you are really smart. The man didn't panic at all. Why do you do this? Kuan Yu continued to absorb his chakra. Do you regret not killing me? The ninja said with a smile. Kuan Yu was silent. Hee, look at this kind of hesitation. You obviously have the ability to conquer everything, but you still have to compromise. Why does this kind of power appear on you? Obviously I am more suitable, so I can lead Konoha to glory. But you chose to betray Konoha for a woman. Enough, Kuan Yu sneered coldly. You are too extreme, your rights have corrupted you, and the infinitely expanding desire can only destroy yourself, Kuan Yu said lightly. Look at your body, it has been eroded by Gui Loya. Do you still have another person who says he is a human? Kuan Yu directly tore off half of the opponent's clothes, which was considered brown horny, covering almost half of his body. Hee, when I heard the name Bailuhu in your mouth, I knew you knew this forbidden technique. The other party laughed. How about it? Do you really want to try it? It's up to you to master, it's easy to defeat Madara. I don't need it. If you give me time, I don't even want these eyes. My strength can only be obtained by my own efforts, Kuan Yu said coldly. Effort? Have you worked hard? Since the day you disappeared, your strength has been continuously increasing. I think you should have gained something special. The ninja sneered. Kuan Yu was silent. I can't say anything, the other party sneered. Indeed, the previous power came a little easier, but if I want to, I can easily get a stronger power, but I gave up. Kuan Yu said something calm and gentle, but he made the other person's eyes shrink. He didn't think that Kuan Yu was lying to him, he just gave up on the power at his fingertips? This makes him a little confused. Kuan Yu looked into his eyes. Do you think I'm an idiot? I just gave up the power that was in front of me, but you don't know that there is a price to gain power, especially unreliable power. You are no longer a human being, you have become another thing, this is the price you paid. The ninja shook his body, and the chakra in his body was emptied. Well, I have given you so much time to escape. If you have a chance, just run away. I don't want to destroy Konoha, Kuan Yu said lightly. Don't you think you can catch me? His eyes are a little strange. I don't think you have a chance to escape, Kuan Yu said disdainfully. Even if the master is in the 6 paths mode, it is just a weak chicken. It was enough to deal with the ninja, but it was Kuan Yu that he had to face. What's the use even if the body is stronger? Then how do you think I traveled between countries so quickly, said the ninja. Kuan Yu was startled, he thought about a trick. The technique of 4th generation is surprisingly easy to use, don't you think it is, Kuan Yu? Kuan Yu looked at him with indifference. You better not reappear, or you will regret it. A black flame appeared on Kuan Yu's hand. Oh, the black flame used by Uchiha Sasuke, Kuan Yu, you are really surprising. I kind of believe you can imitate any ninjutsu. The other party didn't have any painful expressions. However, I'll struggle a bit, otherwise you look meaningless. The black-gray substance clung to Kuan Yu's arm, but Kuan Yu didn't have any expression. Just bounce these things away. It's a pity that I can't absorb it. You can go die. Haiyan is even more fierce. Soon the person in Kuan Yu's hands disappeared. I feel a little familiar with what came up just now, Nine Tails, who had been silent on Kuan Yu's shoulder, said. Don't worry about him. Soon my strength will rise by leaps and bounds, and I will find him after defeating Madara, Kuan Yu said indifferently. Then he flew like this fourth Raikage. Kuan Yu landed on Raikage's boat. Kuan Yu, you eliminated him, fourth Raikage said with a smile. Kuan Yu didn't disappoint them, and solved the other party easily. They were too far apart before, and they didn't hear Kuan Yu's conversation. Kuan Yu shook his head. This is just a puppet controlled by the other party. What? Fourth Raikage was startled. But I already know the identity of the other party, and the other party shouldn't come out for the time being, Kuan Yu whispered. Very troublesome? Fourth Raikage said carefully. Kuan Yu said that it was very likely that he could not solve the other party temporarily. It's very troublesome. The most important thing is that I can't catch him. Go to the Sky Council and wait for me. I'll go to Konoha. Kuan Yu disappeared instantly with 9 tails. It really has something to do with Konoha. Fourth Raikage glanced at where Kuan Yu had left. But if Kuan Yu said this, he would definitely give them an explanation. Modify the route, let's go to the Sky Council, he ordered. Kuan Yu instantly appeared in the secret base underground in Konoha. He hasn't been here for a long time, but nothing has changed. Flying Thunder God has been his whole card for a long time, and with this technique he can escape at any time. But what he didn't expect was that third generation was also the master. If there were no space constraints, Kuan Yu would not be able to seize third generation. Kuan Yu flew out quickly. After a while, his figure appeared outside Konoha. Konoha, you know who that person is, Nine Tails said while looking at Konoha in front. Well, it's third Hokage, Kuan Yu said lightly. It turned out to be that old guy, but he ran away to do what you were doing, Nine Tails said puzzledly. Erase all traces of his existence, I need a pure Konoha, Kuan Yu said with squinting eyes. Then he flew forward quickly. Nine Tails lay on Kuan Yu's shoulder indifferently and closed his eyes. Humans are complicated. Kuan Yu did not hide his figure, but directly passed through Konoha's perception barrier and flew towards the Hokage building. Kuan Yu didn't fly far, countless ninjas appeared instantly, but they stopped seeing Kuan Yu's face. Kuan Yu's eyes flashed, and everything Konoha entered his eyes. Sure enough, did you run away? Kuan Yu was a little disdainful. Kuan Yu flew over the Hokage building under the gaze of many ninjas. And Tsunade, the 2 elders, and some ninjas were already waiting there. Kuan Yu, what's the matter with you this time? Tsunade asked. She saw the small 9 tails on Kuan Yu's shoulder, her eyes changed. But Naruto is still at Mount Myoboku, how did Kuan Yu's 9 tails come from? There is something, Kuan Yu glanced at Hokage Rock over there. As soon as he stretched out his hand, a huge white beam of light shot out, Shen Yun. Kuan Yu, what are you going to do? Tsunade said in horror. With such a powerful ninjutsu, Kuan Yu can destroy most of Konoha with just one sweep. It's nothing. Erase what I saw, that was an eye-catching thing. The beam of light in Kuan Yu's hand turned into a spot of light and disappeared. However, the ninja who watched this scene not far away was horrified to find that the head of third generation had disappeared. And what caused all this was Kuan Yu's beam of light. Kuan Yu's body slowly fell. And Kakashi, who had been farther away, also appeared beside Tsunade, whispering something to Tsunade. Tsunade frowned. The expressions of the 2 elders behind him also changed. Kuan Yu, what are you going to do, and why the third generation's head was erased, don't you know? Before Tsunade could speak, Udatane Kaharu behind her stood up and pointed to Kuan Yu. Of course I know that Konoha will no longer have the third generation, oh no, there will be no Sarutobi Hiruzen, Kuan Yu said with a chuckle. Since you have done nothing for the sake of strength, don't blame me for being impolite. You. What are you going to do? Udatane Kaharu said in horror. She thought Kuan Yu was about to attack third generation. What are you doing? Liquidate all the sins committed by the original third Hokage and make them public, erasing all traces of him from Konoha, Kuan Yu said with a sneer. Kuan Yu, you really want to do this, Tsunade said, who had been silent for a while. Her face was complicated. Teacher, you know what he did, so you won't say that. Kuan Yu glanced at the 2 elders behind Tsunade. In an instant they were controlled by Kuan Yu with illusion. You should be the people who are most familiar with third generation. Now tell me one by one. Kuan Yu controlled the 2 and walked out. Kuan Yu. Tsunade exclaimed. She saw the elder who had lost her eyes and walked out, which was obviously controlled by Kuan Yu using illusion. What's the matter? We have a meeting to say. If these 2 elders were to tell the darkness of Konoha, not only would third generation be ruined, but Konoha would not be better there. She didn't know what irritation Kuan Yu was exposed to and why she did it suddenly. But I think it was what third generation did that angered Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu looked at Tsunade anxiously, and the anger in his heart dissipated a little. This is indeed a bit of a shame to the teacher, but he will not let go of what should be public. Okay, teacher, I'll give you face, Kuan Yu snapped his fingers. The two elders instantly regained consciousness. Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief when Kuan Yu stopped. Go get third generation, Tsunade said to Kakashi. No, he has already escaped. Take care of the roots. He shouldn't have time to take them away. There is still a lot of evidence there. Kuan Yu stepped forward and said. What are you talking about? My grandpa won't run away. A teenager broke into here. Konohamaru. The two elders who had just sobered up exclaimed. Because they have seen Rasengan in Konohamaru's hands. He wants to attack Kuan Yu. It's really bullying me for nostalgia, not even taking my grandson away, Kuan Yu sneered. He directly stretched his hand and pressed it on the Rasengan that Konohamaru had attacked. This technique should have been given to him by Naruto. Rasengan disappeared instantly, and Kuan Yu also grabbed Konohamaru's hand. Do you know what your grandpa did? Kuan Yu didn't care about Konohamaru's struggle. Kuan Yu. Konohamaru is innocent, Mitokado Homura exclaimed. Tsunade didn't have any expressions. With Kuan Yu's character, he would not attack Konohamaru. Yeah, you don't know anything. Kuan Yu glanced at Konohamaru and threw him away. Grab all the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan, and the rebels die, Kuan Yu said coldly. He is already giving orders directly. Although Kuan Yu doesn't have any rights in Konoha, will anyone really not follow it? Tsunade sighed. Follow Kuan Yu's instructions, try not to have conflicts, she said helplessly. Obviously, third generation completely angered Kuan Yu, and Kuan Yu even arrested the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan. But she didn't think Kuan Yu would kill these people directly. Some of the ninjas who belong to the Sarutobi clan here are desperate. The two elders also looked ugly. Handle it as soon as possible, I don't have much time. Kuan Yu slowly walked into the Hokage building. Konohamaru looked at Kuan Yu entering the Hokage building, and sat on the ground with his eyes blank. He didn't know why the world changed all at once. All the ninjas are dispatched to gather the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan. Don't get excited about the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan. You just have to be investigated and hope to cooperate with you, Tsunade said loudly. Tsunade sighed silently in his heart, and didn't know if there would be a riot. But this time Kuan Yu was cruel. Later, although Tsunade had tried to reassure him, riots inevitably occurred. After all, there are too many ninjas in the Sarutobi clan. Finally, Tsunade and people from the major families cooperated to completely control the situation. Then Tsunade, who was in utter discomfort, brought Konoha's senior leaders and even the patriarchs of all races. After all, Kuan Yu was going to deal with a clan this time, and they had to come and see what Kuan Yu's attitude was. Kuan Yu was sitting at the head of the meeting room, smiling and talking to Kimura. Kimura was arranged by Tsunade, and she was going to calm Kuan Yu's emotions. Teacher, you are here, Kuan Yu stood up and said with a smile. Kuan Yu. Why are you this time? Because I represent the Sky Council this time. Third generation's behavior has threatened other villages. I must give them an explanation, Kuan Yu said seriously. Tsunade was puzzled. He captured bloodline ninjas from various villages, no less than 2 in each village, Kuan Yu continued. And he transplanted first-generation cells, and Sharingan, and used Ghost Luobud to devour those bloodline ninjas. Everyone was shocked. Tsunade's eyes were also shocked. She never thought that third generation would do such a thing. Sit down, everyone. Kuan Yu stretched out his hand. Everyone was awakened by Kuan Yu's words, and walked over with solemn faces and sat down. According to Kuan Yu, Konoha is almost provoking the entire ninja world. If this is the case, Kuan Yu can't do anything too much. Hyuga Hiyashi looked at Kuan Yu's complexion, and he didn't expect Kuan Yu to grow to this level in such a short time. The clan elders in the clan were also terrified, for fear that Kuan Yu would come to ask for trouble. But later discovered that Kuan Yu seemed to have forgotten them, and only then recovered. Here, let me talk about the opinions of the Sky Council. First, Konoha must join the Sky Council unconditionally. Kuan Yu threw a bomb as soon as he opened his mouth. There was a lot of discussion, but they didn't have any opinions. Had it not been blocked by third generation, they would have already joined. It now appears that third generation was premeditated. Tsunade's gaze swept across the faces of the patriarchs. Those who were watching Tsunade nodded. We Konoha join, Tsunade said. Very good, so it's our internal problem, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Everyone's expressions were shocked, and they couldn't help but wonder what would happen if it was an external problem. But it should be more serious. Kuan Yu has taken good care of Konoha, and his teacher is also Hokage. The two elders Konoha deprived them of any rights and demoted them to civilians, Kuan Yu said lightly. Mitokado Homura and Udatane Kaharu changed their expressions, but there was nothing to say. They were originally third-generation supporters. Kuan Yu is going to be completely liquidated. In terms of what they have done before, this kind of fate is already considered very good. We accept punishment, the two elders stood up and said. However, what should be explained must be explained. The main issues are Konoha's White Fang Tooth-related incidents, Uzumaki clan, Senju clan, Uchiha clan, etc. related events. What? Everyone's brains were blank. They also know some of these things more or less. This is the dark side of Konoha, and Kuan Yu is about to fully reveal it now. There is only one thought in everyone's mind: third generation is over. What Kuan Yu had to do was to make him a cross-street rat that everyone shouted and beaten, even Konoha was no exception. When Kakashi heard his father's name, his eyes were also complicated. He knew that his father's death was related to third generation. The two elders also looked ugly. Should these things be made public too, this pair of Konoha? Of course, if you make a mistake, you must be punished. As for Konoha, think about how to recover it, Kuan Yu interrupted directly. I found out a long time ago that he had transplanted first-generation cells in Sharingan, but I still gave him a chance. It's just that he doesn't cherish it. Kuan Yu's eyes were cold. He thinks he should be tolerant enough, after all, those things have nothing to do with him. But this time he came for himself, and Kuan Yu would never show any affection. We see. The two elders seemed to lose their energy in an instant, and their voices became a bit dry. These alone are not enough. The Sarutobi clan previously occupied enough resources, now they are all taken away. Then what do the ninjas do? Tsunade asked. Kuan Yu gathered the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan, hoping to have other opinions on how to deal with it. The things related to the previous things will be handled according to your rules. If there is no ninja allowance, the ninja allowance will be cancelled, and the task compensation will be halved. In addition, I'll talk to them in person, Kuan Yu said. Tsunade breathed a sigh of relief, and Kuan Yu was pretty good without being overly involved. I'll take you there, Tsunade stood up and said. Then the group came to a square. A group of ninjas belonging to the Sarutobi clan stood in the middle of the square surrounded by a large number of ninjas. Their looks are ugly, but the elders in the clan are constantly calming their emotions. They know that if they are not honest, they are likely to usher in destruction. They did not expect that their clan would instantly become prisoners from the top of Konoha. The reason for everything is third generation, but they don't know what third generation did. Konohamaru also stood in it, crying, and he was a little dazed. Why is Konoha so good? They seem to have become Konoha's enemies. Kuan Yu floated down from the high platform. Presumably you have a lot of questions, but you will know later. Someone must take care of the mistakes Sarutobi Hiruzen committed, and he has escaped, so I can only start from you. Kuan Yu's voice spread. Immediately, the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan were all talking. You are talking nonsense. My grandpa is third Hokage, and he didn't do anything to be sorry for Konoha. Konohamaru squeezed out of the crowd, pointing at Kuan Yu and shouting loudly. Yes, he didn't do anything to be sorry for Konoha, because he thought Konoha was his, and everything he did was for Konoha's good. It's ironic, even his son Sarutobi Asuma doesn't agree with him. Kuan Yu said mockingly. The high-level people in the stands listened to Kuan Yu's words, and there was also a moment of silence. They also thought of something, as if the purpose of third generation was as Kuan Yu said. It's impossible. Konoha belongs to everyone. Grandpa won't do this, Konohamaru said, finally getting quieter and quieter. There is something he can't do. He is not even afraid that I will destroy the Sarutobi clan, and he will not even take you away. He is using me, using my kindness, thinking it is impossible for me to do this. However, I admire his courage, because he guessed it right. I really will not kill you people with vested interests. Kuan Yu's words caused some riots. The ninjas of the Sarutobi clan are undoubtedly the most in the Konoha clan, and all aspects of them are taken care of by Sarutobi Hiruzen. But I still have to suffer the punishment that deserves to be received, and I will leave the rest to Konoha. But. Kuan Yu paused. I want to deprive you of the name of the Sarutobi clan, and you will no longer be called the Sarutobi clan. As for the Sarutobi family, only Sarutobi Hiruzen is left. This will alleviate your sins, Kuan Yu said this. The square was quiet. No, you can't do this. You cannot do that. The scene suddenly became noisy. Some were crying, some were desperate, some were excited, and even looked at Kuan Yu with hatred. Enough, Kuan Yu drank coldly. The powerful coercion immediately covered the audience, making everyone froze. The scene suddenly fell silent. Compared to genocide, compared to what Sarutobi Hiruzen did, I'm already open to the internet, don't challenge my patience. If you disagree, you can stand up, Kuan Yu said lightly. The discussion rang again. But how can there be souls in a clan that can't be played? Kill Kuan Yu, he has no right to deprive us of our clan name. Fight against us. Suddenly a group of people rushed to Kuan Yu directly. Konohamaru hesitated and wanted to go out, and some people were also ready to move. Kuan Yu sneered, as if I didn't dare to kill. How long has it been since I killed someone? Kuan Yu pulled out Zhangfeng, waved lightly in front of him, and then retracted the knife into its sheath. Everyone was puzzled. What is this? A breeze passed. Pouch, pouch. The sound of the sharp blade cutting into the body is endless. The neck of the ninja who rushed towards Kuan Yu was wiped off, and he knelt on the ground holding his neck in horror. And among the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan who didn't rush out, some people continued to fall. Konohamaru's face was splattered with blood, and a man holding kunai clutched his neck and knelt down. He looked at Konohamaru beside him desperately. Tsunade was also taken aback by this scene. If the Sarutobi clan had resisted just now, no one would be alive here. Kuan Yu's figure fell, and he slowly passed through the corpse on the ground. And the ninjas of the Sarutobi clan backed away in horror. People who almost wanted to do it just now were killed by Kuan Yu, without exception. Konohamaru stood there blankly. Some people wanted to pull, but looking at Kuan Yu who was constantly approaching, his body was trembling constantly, and he couldn't move his body at all. Kuan Yu came to Konohamaru. Hate? Kuan Yu looked condescendingly at Konohamaru. Konohamaru raised his head blankly and looked at Kuan Yu. He nodded. Then take out your weapon. Kuan Yu slowly withdrew Zhangfeng. No. Someone exclaimed. Tsunade appeared beside Kuan Yu instantly. Enough Kuan Yu, no, it's not enough. Someone must pay for what he did. Kuan Yu said indifferently. Come on, figure out your misfortune, and shoot me, Kuan Yu said, looking at Konohamaru. Konohamaru heard Kuan Yu's words and touched his ninja bag with trembling hands. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. If Konohamaru really took out kunai, Kuan Yu would definitely kill Konohamaru without hesitation. Kuan Yu didn't want to kill people, he needed a reason. Just when Tsunade was about to stop. Finally can't help it, Kuan Yu said with a sneer. Kuan Yu shot the knife in an instant and put Zhangfeng on Konohamaru's neck. A kuwu was nailed to the square, and a figure appeared instantly. I saw him dressed in black and wearing a hat on his head, so I couldn't please his face. Kuan Yu. This is a matter between us, don't involve other people, the deep voice sounded. There was brilliance in Konohamaru's eyes. Grandfather. Flying Thunder God. This is third generation. Tsunade was surprised. Don't involve other people. What do those who are devoured by you say? Kuan Yu said disdainfully. They joined the Sky Council. Third generation was silent for a while and spoke. You have killed enough, let go of Konohamaru. Konohamaru, a good name, it matches your ambition. Kuan Yu. What are you going to do? Third generation said angrily. What are you doing? Take a look at what you did first. I wasted my precious training time to deal with your messy things. Isn't that what you want to see? This way I will be weaker, and I can't even beat Madara, and then you can take advantage of our loss and pick a bargain. Isn't that good? Grandson, with your body, it's okay to regenerate a son. Yes, don't be a monster. Kuan Yu said quite viciously. Grandpa. Konohamaru looked at third generation blankly. You. Third generation was a little frustrated. I gave you a chance. Kuan Yu's Zhangfeng stretched forward. Third generation stiffened. Kuan Yu, you should know that this is not good for you, third generation said in a deep voice. Oh, want to retaliate against me? If you have the ability, try it, Kuan Yu sneered. I can destroy Konoha now, third generation said coldly. Everyone was shocked when the words of third generation came out. Even if this person can't see his face clearly, they also know that this is the third generation. Ha ha ha, do you hear? Kuan Yu laughed and moved Zhangfeng from Konohamaru's neck and retracted it into the sheath. Then I looked at the people around me. He said to destroy Konoha. Do you still think I did something wrong? Everyone was silent, only Kuan Yu's voice echoed. Go. Go to your grandpa's place. Kuan Yu pushed behind Konohamaru. Konohamaru couldn't believe his grandfather would say such a thing. No, you are not my grandpa would not say such things. Konohamaru kept backing away, tears in his eyes kept streaming down. He couldn't believe that the grandfather, who was once so beloved by others, turned out to be like this. Kuan Yu. Is this what you want? Third generation looked at Konohamaru, who was backing away. It's not very good looking, but how can it be much more upright than you? I can't catch you either, but someone will have to pay for what you do, otherwise I will go back and explain how, Kuan Yu said with a sneer. Third generation couldn't see his face with the hat, and didn't know what his expression was now. He was a little silent now, as if he was thinking about something. I will not take action for the time being, nor will I take action against your relatives, I can only give you such a promise. I also hope that you will not take action against them. Sarutobi Hiruzen pointed to a group of ninjas of the Sarutobi clan and said. Yes, it's almost the same anyway, Kuan Yu said with a light smile. Kuan Yu didn't want to force third generation too much, he would need some time to deal with Flying Thunder God. He has already figured out a way. A year later, Kuan Yu has the confidence to challenge anyone. Even if third generation is truly mastered in 6 paths mode, Kuan Yu is not afraid. Third generation takes time, and Kuan Yu also takes time. You'll regret it, Kuan Yu. Third generation glanced at Konohamaru, who had a dull gaze, and gritted his teeth. The same thing, I want to tell you too, Kuan Yu said indifferently. Humph. Third generation pulled up the kunai from the ground and disappeared here in an instant. Kuan Yu shook his head. Teacher will leave the rest of the matter to you, don't forget to come to the Sky Council to establish an office. Kuan Yu disappeared here after finishing speaking. Tsunade looked at Kuan Yu, who was leaving in the corpse on the ground. He sighed silently in his heart. If you accept it honestly, Kuan Yu will not be able to kill. Chuan Yu's intention to act on Konohamaru may have been temporary. Tsunade knows Kuan Yu's character very well. He didn't even want to kill the ninjas in the outer village, let alone Konoha. His murder was also to deter the rebellious mind of the Sarutobi clan, who was too powerful, and he shot Konohamaru to force out the third generation. At the same time, what third generation did made her a little bit chilly. I hope that Kuan Yu will be able to grasp the right measures in the future. Don't overdo it in third generation. At this time she felt so weak that she couldn't change anything. Master Tsunade. Kakashi came to Tsunade. Oh, it's Kakashi, prepare for it, and I will arrange for you to go to the Sky Council to establish an office. Tsunade returned to his mind and said. Kakashi nodded. Kuan Yu returned to the meeting room of the Sky Council through Flying Thunder God. Gaara and others were already waiting here. The people were not surprised by Kuan Yu's appearance, and they didn't say anything. They were waiting for Kuan Yu to give them an explanation. The instigator of this incident is Konoha's third generation. Kuan Yu's first sentence made everyone very shocked. They looked at Kuan Yu dumbfounded, but they couldn't believe that third generation would do such a thing. Kuan Yu slowly took his place. Konoha has joined the Sky Council, and I will leave the third generation issue to them, Kuan Yu continued. Everyone frowned, if the punishment of third generation is really too light. This is tantamount to provoking all of them, but they still did not speak. They did not believe that Kuan Yu would be so blatantly biased. Really? Kuan Yu spoke again soon. I erased the identity of third Hokage. He will only be a sinner in Konoha's history, and everything he did will be made public. You will know this soon, and I won't say much. Then I erased the name of the Sarutobi clan and killed some rebels. Later, Sarutobi Hiruzen showed up and made a promise that he won't make a move for the time being. Kuan Yu probably explained what he did when he went to Konoha. Although the wind is calm and light, but a huge wave is set off in the hearts of everyone. They were very clear about Kuan Yu's experience. He rarely killed people. This time Kuan Yu let them see his iron and blood side. And to erase the clan name of the Sarutobi clan, how big a matter is, some people will definitely resist. This time Kuan Yu killed a lot of people. Kuan Yu, can't even you handle Sarutobi Hiruzen? Gaara asked. For the time being, there is no way. He has mastered Flying Thunder God and won't fight me head on at all, Kuan Yu said quietly. However, give me a while, as long as he appears in front of me, he will never have a chance to escape again, Kuan Yu continued. Everyone nodded, they still believed in Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu looked at the people with frowning brows and thought for a while. There is one more thing. After I defeat Uchiha Madara, I will develop a new kind of magic, and the requirements for use will be reduced, but the specifics are still unclear. Kuan Yu said about Shanshu, which also caused them to divert their attention. New Shanshu. Everyone was startled. The amplification effect will not change, but the Sage mode can be maintained, and the Shanshu chakra will greatly increase the lifespan of the user, and the ninja world will enter a new era, the era of cultivating immortals, Kuan Yu said calmly. What? Extend life, Onoki exclaimed. Everyone also opened their eyes wide and couldn't believe it. In order to make chakra, the ninja actually consumes the potential of the body, and its lifespan will be reduced, but Kuan Yu said that after practicing immortality, lifespan will be increased. And Oyemu needed this most, he was too old. If conditions permit, he still wants to live longer. Yes, but I don't know exactly what the situation is, but if you practice well enough, you should be fine to live for hundreds of years, Kuan Yu said slowly. Shanshu can slow down cell division and delay aging, but body cells will still age. Just like the great toad sage, although he has lived for so long, his body is already aging. In other words, I can become younger. Terumi Mei's beautiful eyes kept flashing with this excitement. This is not clear, but it should be okay to keep it as it is now, but I don't have time to modify the Shanshu now, I only have to wait for it later, Kuan Yu said. So please believe me, I will establish a new era. Kuan Yu stood up and said. What third generation has done has caused some internal problems. Especially Konoha, because Kuan Yu was born in Konoha, people in various villages must have some opinions on Kuan Yu. That's why he took advantage of this opportunity to talk about Shanshu. On the one hand, it diverted their attention, and on the other hand, it also allowed the villages to move closer to the Sky Council. At the same time, give them some confidence. After all, the threat of Uchiha Madara has always existed, just like a sharp knife hanging over their heads, and the emergence of third generation also complicates the future. Some things cannot be solved by power. Kuan Yu believes in power, but he does not believe in power. This magic is shared with the villages. Onoki raised his doubts. What can I say? I believe you, Kuan Yu. Fourth Raikage stood up and said. Of course it will be shared, and I will also need to provide sealing skills from all villages in the future to jointly complete this immortal technique, Kuan Yu said with a slight smile. He hadn't planned to hide immortal arts privately, to create an era when there were fewer people. Then we will wait for Chuan Yu-sama to defeat Uchiha Madara. Terumi Mei smiled and stood up and said. This is certain. My wish has always been peace. At the same time, I hope that everyone will abandon the past and work together. Our goal is to fully develop this planet and then go to the stars. After all, a world cannot bear too many immortals, and the lifespan of immortals is inherently long. So in terms of technology, everyone should work hard to develop. Kuan Yu gave them a direction. Everyone was also overwhelmed by the bright prospects Kuan Yu said. Who doesn't want to live longer? Moreover, Kuan Yu himself can live longer, and his suppression, which also means that the ninja world will be at peace for many years. Kuan Yu also shared his fairy skills with everyone, which also proved that Kuan Yu had no selfish intentions. He really wants to create an era. Looking at Kuan Yu's young face, they couldn't help but sigh. Then Kuan Yu gave another explanation, and they left the Sky Council. Since they said they needed sealing skills, they also had to take advantage of this time to train some. But they will not expose this matter now. For the time being, the less people know about this kind of thing, the better. This is also explained by Kuan Yu. After the four shadows left, Kuan Yu still sat there. The fairy art you developed is so magical, Nine Tails asked curiously. Of course, I'm not going to lie to them, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Nine Tails was a little speechless. If humans are too strong, the living space of the beast will become smaller. But even now it's not getting there. They have been sealed for a long time, and they need to change, but Kuan Yu's attitude is not bad, he is a person who can cooperate. Nine Tails has nothing to do with it, at least Kuan Yu still gave them a lot of freedom. Nine Tails, can you do me a favor? Kuan Yu said suddenly. Help. What do you want me to do? Nine Tails said suspiciously. I need more yin and yang escape recently, Kuan Yu said with a smile. What Kuan Yu did in Konoha quickly spread. Everyone was shocked that third generation would actually do such a thing. The news also reached Uchiha Madara. He still cares about these things, Uchiha Madara sneered. Kuan Yusho has not concealed the things that Kuan Yusho has been busy cultivating, basically everyone knows it. But Madara didn't care at all. He has his own backhand and is not worried that Kuan Yu's strength will continue to increase. Yeah, I didn't expect that third generation would actually learn the forbidden technique. The key is that he would go to provoke Kuan Yu, Orochimaru also said with a smile. Bei Luhu was in the same period as him, and of course he knew that Gui Loya technique, but he didn't expect it to be really successful. However, it seems that success is not Kuan Yu's opponent. It's just a clown jumping beam. I can't even beat Kuan Yu. How could he be my opponent? I really look forward to how far Kuan Yu can improve. Madara said faintly, but his eyes flashed with excitement. There is still a year, I really look forward to it. After a while. Orochimaru left Uchiha Madara, and now they have put some guard down on him. He also wants to take advantage of this time to finish his own business. Teacher, I didn't expect you to embark on this path. Are you unwilling? Orochimaru had a cold smile on his face. Then he slowly left here. Ninja world slowly returned to calm again. The exchanges between countries have also become closer. They seem to have reached a certain agreement, and some resources that could not be exchanged have also begun to be exchanged. At the place where Quan Yu was practicing, Nine Tails was lying on the ground, eyes closed. It's just that its tail seems to be missing, as if it had been cut out of thin air. I don't know what I'm doing, and in a dark cave. A figure was slowly unbuttoning his shirt, and saw that almost half of his body was covered with a layer of brown horny substance. Ghost Loya can no longer be destroyed, and the bloodline limit can't be swallowed anymore. Third generation looked at his body and said, having swallowed so much bloodline, he has completed the balance of the 5 elements. But Gui Loya's power has also increased greatly, and he has even merged with him, and can no longer be destroyed. But the better situation is that Gui Loya is also helping him suppress those swallowed consciousnesses. He has indeed mastered the 6 paths mode, but only relying on his own production of truth-seeking ball, there is no way to fight against Quan Yu. Although he does not know what truth-seeking ball is, its various abilities are already well known. It is indeed very powerful, any ninjutsu or material will be annihilated by him. But this is still not Quan Yu's opponent. His clone's strength was not much worse than his own, but it was still easily solved by Quan Yu. And Quan Yu is not afraid of truth-seeking ball at all, and he himself cannot use truth-seeking ball to wrap all of his body. He can make up to 3 with all his strength. It seems that I need more chakra, and there is a bloodline I have to get, he said with squinting eyes. Quan Yu, I will give you a surprise, you wait for me. The voice faded slowly. Orochimaru looked in front of him, and a large number of children with black hair and white robes stood nodded. These children stood there neatly, without any expressions. But looking at Orochimaru's appearance, he was very satisfied. Let them turn on Sharingan, Orochimaru ordered. The yes letter was a little excited. Facts proved that his conjecture was not wrong, and these experimental products all turned on Sharingan. And under the stimulation of illusion, they further opened 3 Tomo Sharingan. There is no difference from the Uchiha clan, and there are no defects. It also depends on the cells given by Lord Orochimaru to improve the endurance of these experimental subjects, so that it can be completed so quickly. With so many Sharingan, just thinking about it, you know what a powerful force this is. But it's a pity that the number of people in the ninja world now has no meaning. Turn on Sharingan followed the letter with an order. A pair of red eyes lit up in the dark, and there were quite a lot of them. Orochimaru took a closer look, and found that Sharingan in a child's eyes was indeed a 3-piece jade. It's just that the expressions of these children are a little dull, maybe their memories are all false reasons. Yes, believe, you did a great job, Orochimaru said with a smile. Thank you Orochimaru-sama for the compliment, but their Sharingan seems to be unable to evolve anymore. I have also tried to increase the stimulation, but without exception, I have a nervous breakdown, Shin said hesitantly. After all, what he said before was to make Mangekyo. Hehe, it's pretty good to be able to do this. Mangekyo is not so easy to open, Orochimaru smiled. He didn't expect Shin to be able to make Mangekyo Sharingan in this way. This is not on the same level as ordinary Sharingan. How is the pupil fusion experiment going? Orochimaru asked. No problem, through some special means we can merge the 2 pairs of Sharingan together, Shin regained his confidence. Sharingan with almost no difference is not difficult to integrate. He took a box out of his arms and handed it to Orochimaru. This is the result of the experiment, Shin said respectfully. Oh, Orochimaru opened the box and found it was a pair of Sharingan in a test tube. Orochimaru's eyes shrank slightly. Anything has changed. Master Orochimaru, this was created by me through a lot of fusion training. This is no longer an ordinary Sharingan. It is likely that it has evolved into Mangekyo, Shin said excitedly. It seems to consume a lot. What kind of abilities it has? Mangekyo has special abilities, Orochimaru said while looking at Sharingan in the box. This is also something I regret. These eyes seem to have only one ability, that is, remote control, which can control the weapons of oneself in the enemy, Shin said regretfully. Hehe, after all, Mangekyo was made by other methods, even the ability is so weak, and there is no characteristic, Orochimaru said indifferently. It seems that he has anticipated this situation. This kind of Mangekyo did not evolve from orthodoxy after all, but they were created by fusing Sharingan. However, although weak, he can still create many such eyes. As long as he continues to merge, he can get what he wants. It might even be possible for Rinnegan. The corners of Orochimaru's mouth raised. This is what he wants. Even if he can't achieve it, he can get a pair of Sharingan whose pupil power is far beyond ordinary Mangekyo. Orochimaru took the pair of Sharingan out of the test tube in the box. Then press his eyes again. What you can see is that the pair of Sharingan is slowly fusing into Orochimaru's eyes. It looks a little weird. It seems that he still modified this body. Sharingan slowly melted into Orochimaru's eyes, and he closed his eyes to adjust. Then he opened it suddenly, and a pair of 3 Tomo Sharingan appeared in his eyes. Then the Guyu in it began to rotate, and finally gathered towards the center. It immediately formed a circle with 3 protrusions on the side. Hee. There is no rejection, even this body is still nourishing these eyes. As expected, the Senju clan is related to the Uchiha clan. Orochimaru smiled. When he stretched out his hand, a scalpel on the experimental platform next to it floated and shot Orochimaru quickly. It finally stopped in Orochimaru's hand and floated up. It seems that I can't use Susanoo. Orochimaru frowned. But this is only Mangekyo that was forcibly merged, and it is normal to have flaws. Letter. Continue to fuse, and pay attention to see if there are other abilities. Orochimaru said, dropping the scalpel in his hand. Only this kind of ability is too weak. Even if the pupil power becomes very strong afterwards, this kind of ability is of little use. Understand, Shin nodded and said. Orochimaru nodded in satisfaction. If he takes this opportunity to get Rinnegan, then he can also be at the same level as Quan Yu and Madara. At least he can escape safely in the face of Quan Yu. But all this depends on the results afterwards. Even he himself doesn't know whether he can get the real Rinnegan in this way. Looking at Madara's performance, Rinnegan should have evolved from Sharingan. However, he is not clear about the specific requirements, and can only produce qualitative changes through quantitative changes. But these eyes can't be found by Madara, otherwise he might also be cleared. Orochimaru closed his eyes and saw that his eyelids were constantly rising and falling. After a while, when he opened his eyes, he became the former snake pupil. Letter. The experiment is a little more secretive. Don't leave here recently. The created eyes are sent to me through summoning, Orochimaru said. This can't help, but he was not careful. It was discovered that he was experimenting with Madara's cells. It was a big trouble. What's more, he also tried to make Rinnegan. Shin nodded, expressing understanding. Even the letter may think Orochimaru just wants to create a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan with powerful pupils. But he didn't know that Sharingan had a higher level of evolution. Orochimaru looked at the expressionless children, then turned and left. After that, he will completely close this place, and even after the experiment is completed, he will destroy it. Before getting enough power, he didn't want to be exposed. Time passed slowly. The Sky City has become more prosperous. It is rare for Quan Yu to walk slowly in the Sky City today without any cultivation. Half a year later, the Thunder attribute bloodline was also completed. The 7th layer of activated Quan Yu has also been cultivated, and has been experimented. The power is indeed very strong, but the loss to the body is also considerable. In that state, it is almost impossible for Quan Yu to be killed. Once injured, he will instantly recover. But Quan Yu can only be used for a short time, and the body's activity is too strong. If it were not for Quan Yu's full suppression, he might have completely turned into a giant tree. This is mainly due to the lack of capacity for my body. It is not enough to withstand this degree of activation, causing its own cells to proliferate wildly soon. However, as Quan Yu's body continues to improve, the longer he can use the 7th layer of activation. The activation of the 6th to 7th floors is simply a world of difference, and the increase is too strong. But there is still half a year, and half a year later, the time he can use the 7th layer to activate will be enough for him to fight. However, the cultivation of attributes has not gone so smoothly. Water, earth, thunder, fire, and Quan Yu have cultivated the power of bloodline. But only the wind attribute, he has been unable to find a direction. Because there is no such type of reference in the ninja world. He also asked the 5 villages to check relevant information, but there was almost no information in this regard. I don't know if it was lost in the war, or there was no such power as the master at all. Although Quan Yu believed that as long as he had enough time, he would definitely be able to cultivate. But time waits for no one, and there is still half a year, and Quan Yu is not sure that he can cultivate without direction. Quan Yu. A shout interrupted Quan Yu's thinking. Quan Yu looked up and saw that it was Kakashi who was walking towards him. Oh, it's Kakashi-senpai, it's been a long time, Izumi Yu said with a smile. There, dare you to call it senior, how are you practicing lately? I haven't seen you appear since I came here. Kakashi waved his hand and said. Fortunately, the practice is stuck, come out and look for inspiration. Kakashi frowned slightly. This is not good news, although he doesn't know what Quan Yu is practicing. But Quan Yu's strength is related to the destiny of Ninja World. However, Quan Yu himself had been separated from Fan Dao, who was an ordinary ninja, and no one was able to comment on his practice. Don't worry, I still have a way to deal with Uchiha Madara. Quan Yu saw Kakashi's worry. Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief, and Quan Yu said that he should have some hole cards. Quan Yu glanced at Kakashi's covered eyes. Kakashi, your Sharingan has affected your strength too much. I didn't consider taking it off. I can help you restore your previous eyes, Quan Yu said. This eye is Obito's, and the built-in ability Kamui is also a very powerful spatial pupil technique. The attack capability of this space type is quite powerful. Quan Yu said that because he was not afraid that Kakashi's eyes would be taken back by Obito, he had already thought of the way to deal with the spatial ability. And Kakashi keeps these eyes, it's dangerous. When not sure, Obito will come and take it away. After all, Quan Yu also has spatial abilities, and Obito also needs a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan's abilities to restrict Quan Yu. However, if Obito wants to take Madara into his space, Quan Yu is very welcome, and don't even think about leaving once he comes in. In Quan Yu's space, it is impossible for Obito to break through the space. Forget it, this is left to me by my friend. Kakashi's expression was a little complicated. Well, you are happy. Quan Yu didn't care. He originally wanted to use Yang Yun to help Kakashi restore his eyes, but Kakashi didn't want to let it go. Thank you Quan Yu, but I still have something to trouble you, Kakashi said embarrassedly. What's up? The attitudes of other villages towards Konoha are not very good, I want you to help coordinate it, Kakashi said embarrassedly. Kakashi has been here for so long, and the country of Wind treats them a little better, and other countries treat them indifferently. Quan Yu knew what was going on after a little thought. It was nothing more than the previous event, which made various countries resist Konoha. The black material of third generation exposed by Quan Yu made Konoha's situation even more embarrassing. This directly led to Konoha's reputation plummeting, and no country wanted to cooperate with Konoha. Well, I know, I will explain to Hizzy, Quan Yu said. Although Keiko helped Quan Yu deal with any affairs, what Quan Yu said was not as effective as Quan Yu's words. After bidding farewell to Kakashi, Quan Yu came to Keiko again. At this time, Keiko was sitting on the desk, constantly reviewing various documents, while Bai was also standing on the side and constantly communicating with Keiko. Although the 5 major countries can communicate with each other through their own offices. But in order to show respect for the Sky Council, all cooperation between them will be reported to the Sky Council. That's why Keiko is so busy. People who came and went also noticed Quan Yu's arrival and wanted to talk, but they were stopped by Quan Yu's eyes. Of course they knew the relationship between Keiko and Quan Yu, so they left quietly. After everyone is gone. Ahem, Quan Yu walked to them and coughed slightly. Keiko frowned, then raised her head. But seeing Quan Yu with a smile on his face bloomed like a flower in an instant. Quan Yu. Why are you here? Bai was also slightly surprised. Since the last incident, Quan Yu has rarely come out. Come and see you guys, this time has been hard, Quan Yu said with a smile. What's the hard work? It's nothing more than signing and signing, Quan Yu. How are you in your cultivation? Keiko said casually. Fortunately, one step away from the goal, Quan Yu said relaxedly. Although it is the most difficult step, it is also to prevent them from worrying. Sure enough, when they heard Quan Yu say this, a smile suddenly appeared on their faces. Go. Accompany me out for a walk. I feel that I have been a little slow in my practice recently. Quan Yu stretched out his hand and said to Hizzy. Keiko blushed and looked at the white next to her. I forgot to take a copy of the document, you guys talk first. Bai Wei smiled and left quickly. However, Quan Yu directly grabbed Keiko's hand carelessly and pulled her up from the seat. Then he picked up Keiko and flew out directly. Keiko was shocked. But Keiko quickly adapted, blushing and leaning against Quan Yu's arms. Quan Yu was almost busy with cultivating, and she really ignored Keiko and the others. And they also know that Quan Yu is in a hurry, and they understand Quan Yu very well. But Quan Yu always felt owed to them. Anyway, there is a bottleneck in cultivation now, so Quan Yu took Keiko and walked around. Go to see the scenery and enjoy the food. The long time of cultivation made Quan Yu quite depressed. To outsiders, it seemed that Quan Yu had only practiced for a year. But Quan Yu has actually practiced for many years, and he has accelerated the flow of time in space. All kinds of heavy cultivation made Quan Yu feel a little disgusted. But for his family, for himself, he must persevere. Until he cultivated the 7th level of activation, and the attributes of the 5 elements were only missing from the attributes of wind. Kuan Yu was slightly relieved. By the side of a large lake with beautiful scenery, Kuan Yu had fallen asleep leaning on Keiko. Keiko also looked at Kuan Yu with gentle eyes. She knew that Kuan Yu was very tired, and there had been a large number of clones since Kuan Yu practiced, and she knew how much pressure Kuan Yu was under. But Kuan Yu never showed a little tiredness, and his face was always smiling. And she also accidentally learned from Jifu that Kuan Yu actually accelerated the flow of time in her own space, allowing him more time to practice. Such arduous practice made Keiko feel extremely distressed. But Kuan Yu never told anyone about it, and chose to bear it alone. Keiko brushed Kuan Yu's tousled hair, and then he leaned against Kuan Yu and fell asleep. His hair has grown longer again. Kuan Yu, who returned to the Sky City, began to practice regularly. Stop staying in the space all the time, and eat with your family when you have time. The expression became very relaxed. Others also had more time to see Kuan Yu, and they were also slightly surprised. However, Kuan Yu's performance in this way also shows that he is very confident. As time approached, almost everyone became nervous. Kuan Yu, let me resurrect. Itachi found Kuan Yu sitting in the air. And Kuan Yu's body was surrounded by a whirlwind. Itachi, you finally figured it out, Kuan Yu said with a smile, opening his eyes. Although Itachi seemed to be about to resurrect before, Kuan Yu waited for a long time, and Itachi didn't mention it. I don't know what the reason is, it makes Itachi think of resurrection. I want to use the power of my father Sharingan to see what the future holds, Itachi said. As the day of the decisive battle approached, Itachi also became a little nervous. That's why I want to see the future with the power of Sharingan. Although he has confidence in Kuan Yu, if he can know the changes in the future, Kuan Yu can also be prepared. Itachi, no matter how amazing the power of Mangekyo Sharingan is, he can't directly see the future. What you see may be the result of illusion deduction, or it may be a scene of parallel space, but it will definitely not be our future. Kuan Yu said with a smile. Parallel space? Itachi was puzzled. A parallel space is a space similar to the space we are in. There is another ninja world inside. What happens in it may have some things in common with us here, but it's not exactly the same. I can't explain the details. Kuan Yu shook his head and said. He doesn't even know whether there is parallel space or not, this is just his guess. It doesn't matter, it's okay to see, Itachi said still. Well, if you want to watch it, just watch it, Kuan Yu didn't matter. So the two came here, Kabuto. Itachi's body has not been directly matured because he has not mentioned the resurrection. But now he has an adult appearance, and it should be in a better state. As for the illness of Itachi, Kuan Yu will inject Yang Escape when Itachi is resurrected, and it should be repaired. There should be no problem. Kuan Yu took Itachi and his body into the space. And Kuan Yu's space at this time was much larger than before, almost 100 meters in radius. With a diameter of more than 200 meters, this also means that Kuan Yu can move long distances. Itachi hadn't been to Kuan Yu's space for a long time, and was a little surprised at the changes in Kuan Yu's space. With the help of 9 tails yin and yang escape, it was hard to expand the space like this, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Itachi smiled and didn't say a word. Expanding the space from Kuan Yu can show that he has prepared a lot for the future battle with Madara. Okay, I'm starting. Where are your father's eyes? I will help you install them directly later, Kuan Yu said. Here Itachi took out a box, stroked it lightly, and opened it. Kuan Yu stretched out his hand. The ferret's body penetrated out of the container and was suspended in the air. And Kuan Yu pulled it at it, and it suddenly turned blue, and then slowly converged into a group of yin and yang. The box did not fall, but hovered in the air. His soul was drawn out by Kuan Yu, and then Kuan Yu pressed on Itachi's floating body. Fusion. Suddenly, Itachi's body was shaking. Then Itachi slowly opened his eyes, but his eyes were black. How do you feel? Kuan Yu asked. It's a little weak, this body hasn't been exercised yet, Itachi said with a fist squeeze. There is still some time, it should be able to recover quickly, I will inject some vitality into you, recovery faster. A colorless and transparent thing slowly floated out of Kuan Yu's hand, floating towards Itachi's body. Then it blended into his body. Itachi only felt that his whole body was full of vitality in an instant, except for his strength, the other state was incredibly good. Itachi's eyes condensed, and then his eyes began to turn red, and a Guyu appeared. Itachi wants to start Sharingan in this state. Soon 2 and 3 Guyu also appeared one after another. It was easy, Itachi didn't feel any pressure. Then, Guyu in Itachi's eyes was constantly spinning. He wanted to see if he could open Mangekyo. Kuan Yu couldn't help shaking his head. This is almost impossible. After all, this is a copy, and it is not the same as Itachi's original eyes. Itachi frowned, and he was constantly using his pupils to stimulate Sharingan. He himself had the experience of opening Mangekyo, and the cells of this body were also extracted after he opened Mangekyo. The Go-Yu in his eyes was actually gathering in the middle, as if to merge together. Kuan Yu also discovered this situation, so his vitality never stopped, and he injected pure chakra into Itachi. What if Itachi succeeds? After all, Itachi's talent is still quite terrifying. Itachi's sweat kept dripping, and the difficulty of trying to evolve Mangekyo again was unimaginable. Had it not been for Kuan Yu's constant vitality, he felt that his Sharingan would be broken. As time passed slowly, Itachi had persisted for a long time, but still failed. Kuan Yu, it won't work. I can only do this level, Itachi said with difficulty. Kuan Yu looked at Itachi's eyes, and all Guyu gathered into a black spot, which seemed to be close to success. Hold on first, I want to try to put your father's eyes into your eyes now. Kuan Yu said solemnly. Itachi was almost able to evolve Mangekyo, and Kuan Yu was also quite surprised by Itachi's talent. Replicas are almost out of authenticity, but this step was like a moat, Itachi couldn't cross it. So Kuan Yu decided to use the power of Itachi's father's eyes to let Itachi's eyes evolve and then merge. Maybe this way, the eternal Mangekyo can also be awakened. As soon as Kuan Yu waved his hand, Itachi's father's eyes flew out of the box. Then flew in front of Itachi. Itachi also understood Kuan Yu's meaning and nodded slightly. Fusion, Kuan Yu sipped. Sharingan, who was suspended in the air, went directly into Itachi's eyes. As if directly hollowed, there was no hindrance. But 3 Guyu Jade appeared in Itachi's eyes again, and the small black spot that had been compressed to the limit had actually changed. It slowly stretched out 3 sharp, and then continued to extend, and finally formed 3 sharp blade-like marks. This is Mangekyo of Itachi. They succeeded. With the help of the power of Itachi's father's eyes, they succeeded in making Itachi evolve Mangekyo. It's just that there are 3 more Guyu Jade in Itachi's eyes, and these Guyu Jade that originally belonged to Itachi's father's eyes have not disappeared. And when Itachi's Mangekyo was formed, these Guyu Jade was actually spreading out, connected with Itachi's mark, and rotating with Itachi's Mangekyo. Eventually a ring was formed. Put it directly on the mark of the 3 sharp blades of Itachi, connecting them together. Kuan Yu was slightly puzzled, and there was an extra circle. Was it a success or a failure? Kuan Yu felt Itachi's pupil power had slowly stabilized. Itachi, your current state of Sharingan is? Kuan Yu asked curiously. I don't know, but it has more pupil skills than before. Itachi was also a little puzzled. It was Sasuke who evolved the eternal Mangekyo, and only inherited the previous pupil technique, but he retained the previous pupil technique and inherited a pupil technique of his father's eyes. Kuan Yu was also a little surprised, but this situation is a bit special. Could it be that Kuan Yu used the power of space to merge, which made Mangekyo some changes? Try it, Itachi nodded. Then a Susanoo in a cloak appeared behind Itachi, and he turned on Susanoo in the 4th state. This is also the best way to test Sharingan's power. I don't know if the eternal Mangekyo has evolved, but it is a lot easier, Itachi said. Turning on Susanoo at this level was almost the limit when he was alive. But it doesn't seem to be difficult now. If he can also start a higher state. Itachi puts away Susanoo. Let's see if it will affect the eyesight after using too much. Even if it affects, I can repair it, Kuan Yu said with a smile. My father's ability to see the future has been preserved, Itachi said. Kuan Yu was a little surprised, but he didn't expect that this ability would really be preserved. Since it's preserved, let's take a look. Kuan Yu didn't care. The imprints in the 2 Mangekyo of Itachi turned slightly, and immediately blood shed from his eyes. It seems to use this ability to use the ability of Itachi's eyes. Not knowing what Itachi saw, his body shook suddenly. Why? Do you see anything special? Kuan Yu asked curiously. Kuan Yu, you may be in trouble. I can't see much, and the picture is almost fleeting, but... Itachi hesitated. Let's talk, I can bear it, Kuan Yu said not nervously. Even if Itachi's eyes really saw the future, he didn't care. Compared to what Itachi saw, he believed in his own strength more. I saw a destroyed blue 10-star eye, Itachi said solemnly. Destroyed? Itachi, are you sure it was destroyed? Kuan Yu said in surprise. Itachi nodded. Kuan Yu's strength is almost always supported by the blue 10-star eye. Once one is destroyed, it can be imagined how much influence Kuan Yu's strength will be. I still think why, small things, don't worry, Kuan Yu said with a smile. As if the blue 10-star eye was destroyed, Kuan Yu didn't take it to heart. Kuan Yu. Itachi was a little worried. Let's go, I'll take you out, my strongest strength right now is not my eyes, Kuan Yu smiled. The power of the blue 10-star eye is indeed very important, but it is no longer his main power now. Kuan Yu took Itachi back to the real space. Hearing Kuan Yu's words like this, Itachi also felt relieved. He knew that Kuan Yu had been cultivating other powers. Obviously there are results now, but even so, Kuan Yu's eyes are destroyed. This makes Itachi a little worried. Worrying is useless. Go and exercise. Take advantage of this time to get used to the feeling of being alive. Kuan Yu patted Itachi on the shoulder and said. I see, Itachi said with a smile. Seeing that Kuan Yu was so relaxed, Itachi also felt relieved. After saying goodbye to Kuan Yu, he left here. Kuan Yu shook his head. He didn't care about the destruction of Lan Shixing's eyes. This was more than just confidence in his own strength. Or simply feel that the future Itachi sees is not reliable. It is almost impossible to destroy his blue 10-star eyes in battle, and Kuan Yu can open his attack with a random look. If it had encountered an overly strong opponent and was destroyed, then Kuan Yu could not help it. But he doesn't think Madara has this strength. If it is a farther future, it will be even more impossible. At that time, Kuan Yu's strength was stronger, and it was even less likely that such an accident would occur. Kuan Yu continued to practice. Strength is the basis for conquering everything. And Orochimaru is also accumulating his strength here. As more and more Sharingan sent letters, he had to avoid Uchiha Madara and them temporarily. The boiling pupil power is too easy to be discovered. Even Orochimaru can't control it, and the cover-ups done before are useless. But even though his pupil power was so strong, he even felt that he had surpassed Sasuke's eternal Mangekyo. But he still can't use Susanoo, which makes him a bit regretful. Although Mangekyo's other ability was added, it still couldn't be used. This ability is the spatial ability that Orochimaru expects, but it can only be teleported at a fixed point. After marking with pupil power, you can directly open a stable spacetime channel and shuttle past. The use speed is a bit slow, and it takes time to open the spacetime channel, but there is no distance limit, and it can even break through to a different space. As his pupil power increases, the speed of use also becomes faster. Unfortunately, only one mark can be left, and unlimited transmission is not possible. Some chicken ribs, but it can be used to escape. It is equivalent to a weakened version of Flying Thunder God. The materials are almost used up, but Rinnegan hasn't evolved yet, Orochimaru frowned. It doesn't take much time for the letter to merge Mangekyo, but it takes a certain amount of time for him to merge these Mangekyo himself. It is not that simple to merge two pairs of Mangekyo, although they are not different in themselves. Now it is too late to cultivate experimental subjects. It's better to wait until the materials are used up, and then check again. Orochimaru was a little regretful. As the pupil power continued to increase, he vaguely felt that he should still be some distance away from Rinnegan. His pupil power will not continue to be strong. One day he will reach the limit, and after breaking the limit, he will be the Rinnegan he dreams of. If you have to, you can only do that. Orochimaru's voice sounded, and the surroundings plunged into darkness again. And the land of thunder in the distance. Fourth Raikage was looking at the dancing Killer Bee with a headache. He finally let Killer Bee come out of Turtle Island. But when he asked Killer Bee to be a member of the Sky Council, Killer Bee was unwilling. This is for your safety. To Kuan Yu, you are safe until he loses to Uchiha Madara, Fourth Raikage said. Yo. Didn't it mean that they agreed that they won't make a move during this period of time? What am I going to do, yo? Killer Bee said in a strange pose. That's correct, but we also have to express our support for Chuan Yu. Once Chuan Yu successfully defeats Uchiha Madara, his status as a member of parliament is not easy, Fourth Raikage said. Kuan Yu shouldn't let me lean towards the Kingdom of Thunder, brother, your plan is going to fail, Killer Bee said seriously. He joined the Sky Council, which is equivalent to leaving Cloud Shinobi Village directly, which is why he is unwilling. Of course I know, isn't this for you? Some things are unique to Kuan Yu. You become a counselor, but the benefits are quite big. Fourth Raikage looked at the other ninjas standing around and said. He wouldn't tell me about Shanshu. This was what Kuan Yu requested, and even Killer Bee was not going to tell it in advance. Even if it is shared with other villages, Kuan Yu is the creator. Killer Bee will gain a lot of convenience when practicing. Let's talk about it later. Killer Bee looked indifferent. You. Fourth Raikage looked frustrated and wanted to go up and give Killer Bee twice. But in the end he sighed helplessly. He knew that Killer Bee was reluctant to leave Cloud Shinobi Village. Well, you go down. Anyway, you will pass by sooner or later. Think about it for yourself during this time, Fourth Raikage said. Killer Bee is 8 Tails Jinchuriki, and all tail beasts will be concentrated in the Sky Council, which he cannot change. And Killer Bee has also been recognized by 8 Tails. It is impossible for Quan Yu to keep Killer Bee in Cloud Shinobi Village. I see, Killer Bee said indifferently. Fourth Raikage's forehead bounced with blue veins, and it was obvious that Killer Bee didn't take his words to heart. Killer Bee took a look at Fourth Raikage, who was furious and hurried out. He is not at all interested in being a member of parliament. Go down too. Pay attention to the defense of the village, Fourth Raikage said with a headache. Yes, the ninjas in the room left one after another. After that, in a dark corner. Finally found it. I hide it so deep. If Raikage hadn't found him, I really couldn't find him. It seems I would also like to thank Quan Yu, a figure said softly. If you pay close attention to his appearance, you will find that this person is a ninja who just appeared in Raikage's company. But it seems that this person has obvious problems. Then this person returned to normal and walked out slowly. I greeted the ninja I met, and it didn't seem to be unusual. After a while, Madu, what are you doing here? Said a ninja guarding the gate, looking at the ninja who came by. Oh, Lord Raikage has forgotten to explain to Lord Killer Bee. He specifically asked me to talk to Lord Killer Bee. This ninja Kaido named Ma-Do. That's it, then you go in. This person is a little confused. Master Raikage has just met with Master Killer Bee, so there is something to explain so soon? Ma-Do is about to go in. Ma-Do, I rest at night. How about going to have a meal together? The ninja said suddenly. Okay, I'll find you when I'm done, Ma-Do said with a smile. But the ninja instantly appeared beside Ma-Do, and kunai was placed on Ma-Do's neck. Who are you and why you sneaked into this place? Ma-Do can't help but know that I won't rest today, the ninja said coldly. Oh, I was discovered, so I won't be able to keep you, Ma-Do said with a smile. The ninja was startled, and was ready to cut the neck of Madu. But his body was paralyzed instantly. Ma-Do pulled away his hand, and then looked at him strangely. A pair of Mangekyo appeared in his eyes. Master Killer Bee, Master Raikage asked me to explain something to you. He wants you to wait a while to see Master Quan Yu. Ma-Do and the former ninja came to the Killer Bee training place and said. Oh, brother is annoying. Do you want me to go to Quan Yu's place like this? Killer Bee said helplessly, sitting on the ground. Okay, I see, Killer Bee said casually. There is one more thing, Master Killer Bee, you must know about it, Ma-Do said. What's up? Ma-Do came to Killer Bee and leaned down to say something to Killer Bee. Master Killer Bee. Bang! Killer Bee instantly grabbed Ma-Do's hand and pressed him to the ground. Hey ha, you are a little bit trying to deceive this uncle. 8 Tails said there is something on your body, Killer Bee said smugly. What's the matter? Isn't he Ma-Do? The remaining ninja exclaimed and came to Killer Bee's side. Hey, I was discovered by you, but you are mine, Ma-Do, who was pressed on the ground, said with a smile even though he could not move his body. Killer Bee frowned and pulled out a knife in an instant, ready to attack first. Obviously the other party came prepared. Puff. Killer Bee shook his body and looked down at his chest. A sharp black rod broke through his body and appeared there. And there was no drop of blood, but Killer Bee felt that the chakra in her body was disordered. Can't even control the body. When he wanted 8 Tails to come out. Several short rods were inserted into his body, and then he fell stiffly to the ground. And the Ma-Do, who had just been pressed to the ground by him, stood up. Who are you? Killer Bee said hard. Hee, you will know who I am soon, Ma-Do said with a smile. Killer Bee is a perfect Jinchuriki. Even if he wants to take it directly, it takes a lot of effort, and this is Cloud Shinobi, if the movement is too big. Failing to catch Killer Bee in time, it was troublesome to be driven by Quan Yu. Killer Bee, but under Nagato's capture, also escaped his life. At best, his strength is only better than Nagato. Ma-Do glanced at the ninja standing there, and instantly the ninja broke his neck and fell to the ground. You controlled him, Killer Bee frowned as he looked at the fallen ninja. Otherwise, how can you relax your guard? Stop talking nonsense, now I'm going to take you away. Ma-Do put his hand on Killer Bee's body. Then the two disappeared instantly. After a long time, a ninja came here, only to find the ninja lying on the ground, and Killer Bee was gone. Suddenly he exclaimed, and hurried up to check and found that he was dead. After that, he quickly left here with horror. Not long after he left, Cloud Shinobi's ninjas were all out, searching around the village constantly. Master Raikage. A ninja ran into Raikage's office. Haven't you found it? Fourth Raikage asked hurriedly. The ninja shook his head. Damn it. Fourth Raikage smashed the desk with a punch. Time has passed for so long, and it hasn't been found yet, so Killer Bee should be more fortunate. He was also regretting why he wasn't tough, and there was nothing wrong with sending Killer Bee to Quan Yu. Send a message to the Sky Council, and I'll go there soon, Fourth Raikage said in a deep voice. Yes, up to now, I can only ask Quan Yu for help. However, they didn't even know who the other party was. The Sky Council. A samurai piloted this flying device and hurriedly landed on the docking platform. Disregarding the surprised eyes of other people, he took off the flying equipment and left here quickly. Keiko-sama, this is an urgent letter sent by Mifune-sama. The samurai was taken to Keiko. Keiko frowned, and it was obvious that it might not be a good thing to be in such a hurry. Keiko accepted the letter and read it carefully. It's just that the more I look at it, the deeper my brow furrows. What's the matter, Keiko? Bai said next to her. Notify Quan Yu, we can't handle this matter, Keiko said helplessly. Soon after, Fourth Raikage also came to the Sky Council. As soon as he arrived, he was led to the conference room. And Quan Yu was sitting there, watching with a blank paper in his hand. Master Raikage is here, sit down, I already know the specifics, but don't worry about it for the time being, Quan Yu raised his head and said. But Killer Bee. Seeing Quan Yu not nervous at all, Fourth Raikage was a little anxious. Don't worry, look at this. Quan Yu handed the blank paper to Fourth Raikage. This is. Fourth Raikage was a little confused. But he took it and looked at it. Yuan Fei, Hiruzen. Damn bastard, Fourth Raikage's face was full of anger, and the white paper in his hands turned directly into crumbs. Since he said he wouldn't want Killer Bee's life, then the matter should be resolved better. All he wants is 8 tails, Quan Yu said lightly. The letter was sent to Mifune by third generation. There was not much content, that is, he took Killer Bee and said that he would not kill him, and then there was no other content. Obviously third generation thinks Quan Yu will know what he means. Why would he do this? Fourth Raikage said puzzledly. Even if he didn't need to tell us by himself, I could probably guess it was him. He came to tell me that one was provocation and the other should be for his grandson who was still in Konoha. Quan Yu sneered on his face. He certainly understood why third generation did this. Then can we use his? Forget it, even if we capture his grandson, he will not be able to hand over Killer Bee, but will make him do some unreasonable things, and we have not yet come to the point of counting on a child, Quan Yu said. Fourth Raikage was silent. He did not worry a bit, since the other dared to do so, and that's already. If after he and Madara join forces it will not affect you, said the Fourth Raikage frowning. Don't forget, Madara is also collecting tail beasts. He catches tail beasts to improve his own strength. Don't dare to cooperate with Madara. Quan Yu is not worried about the cooperation between third generation and Madara. But having such a person behind makes him a little sick. Ghost know when he will make some things contrary to common sense, it is the same to this. Then how do we catch him? Fourth Raikage frowned. He will appear, probably when I fight Madara, Quan Yu's eyes flashed brightly. Of course he knew third generation arrested Killer Bee as for what? Third generation obtain 8 tails, almost make up his chakra shortcomings, the strength of 6 paths mode can be fully utilized for Quan Yu is not a small trouble. It seems that the cultivation of wind attributes must be accelerated. But now he still hasn't found the direction. What is the nature of the wind? Quan Yu was lost in thought. Seeing Quan Yu thinking, Fourth Raikage knew that it might be troublesome to insert such a person in the battle between Quan Yu and Madara, but they couldn't find him now. Can only look at Quan Yu's. Quan Yu once failed, it was all over, but they could not offer any help. Can only watch the development silently, Fourth Raikage sighed in his heart. After that, he didn't want to bother anymore, knowing that Killer Bee would not die, he was also relieved a lot, and then he was going to watch Quan Yu. Away from him and Uchiha Madara fighting time is coming. So he left here. Cloud Shinobi Village was a little confused because of Killer Bee's capture, and he had to go back and sit down as soon as possible. Quan Yu nodded, but still did not stop thinking. He wandered slowly in the Sky City, and the passing pedestrians did not disturb Quan Yu. The Quan Yu unwittingly walked the edge of a platform, one foot already stepped out. Quan Yu. A voice interrupted Yu Quan meditation. Quan Yu ling-a-ling, then looked at his feet. He was laughing, too preoccupied with their own wish, so go out, though not what will happen, but still may take him surprised. Quan Yu looked back at Bai who was running over. Yu Quan. How do you, White said puzzled. Quan Yu's state just now was obviously wrong. It's okay, thinking about things, Quan Yu said with a smile. Madara is about to do battle with things, White asked, worried. Yu Quan saw the white of fear, shook his head. It's cultivation, I'm thinking about what wind is, Quan Yu said. White, you also have the wind properties, you say what is the nature of wind is it, Quan Yu asked. This problem has been plagued by Quan Yu for a long time, and I need to find someone to talk about it. I do not know, I used to wind and water are the basic attributes combined to form ice escape, I'm sorry, Yu Quan, I cannot help you, said White lost. Quan Yu waved his hand. Don't mind, this question is too difficult for you. Yu Quan talking, my mind suddenly a flash, he seemed to grasp something. Ice escape. Why would combine wind and water out of the ice escape it? Yu Quan said mumbling. This seems to be something in his cognition. Bing Dun is a combination of wind and water attributes, but Quan Yu has not thought about the specific reasons for its formation. It may be that the wind attribute has lowered the temperature of the water, Bai thought for a while and said. Even though she is an Ice Dun ninja, she can't understand the reason why Ice Dun is formed. She uses Ice Dun to rely more on instinct. But Bai's words gave Quan Yu a feeling of grasping inspiration. How can wind lower the temperature? It is in itself does not have this ability, to lower the temperature, only weaken motion of the particles, so that the object itself absorbs heat outside, to restore their original state of motion. This is the reason for lowering the temperature. But what does this have to do with the wind? Bai looked at Quan Yu with a pensive expression and didn't bother, but stood there quietly. Quan Yu's mind constantly flashed a manual, but he did not catch. It's almost too. Quan Yu was also anxious in his heart. But the more anxious he was, the more he couldn't catch it. What the hell is wind? Quan Yu let out a sigh of relief, this mentality is impossible to succeed. White, you go back, don't worry. Breeze, Yu Quan led the head of hair. Quan Yu looked at his fluttering hair. It has been a long time since he had cut his hair, it has grown so long. But he was taken aback suddenly. He stretched out his hand, spread his fingers, and felt the wind flowing between his fingers. He seems to understand something. The flow of air forms the wind, and the faster the flow, the greater the wind. The slower the flow, the smaller the wind. But if it does not flow, does the wind cease to exist? In other words, the wind is formed by the ninja controlling the flow of air through chakra. It can also be said that the wind is formed when the air particles are driven. Then I'm going further, slowing down the motion speed of the air particles in the microscopic or staying still, can this reduce the temperature? The light in Quan Yu's eyes skyrocketed, he found it. Quan Yu shook his 5 fingers, as if he were about to grasp the wind flowing between his fingers. Unfortunately, how could the wind be caught? Quan Yu didn't catch anything, but there was a smile on his face. Quan Yu, are you okay? Bai asked worriedly. It's okay, Bai, I'm going to step up my practice during this time, and help me tell Hizzy. I may not have time to accompany her, Quan Yu said with a smile. It's just that his hands keep holding something in the air, which looks a little weird. There are only more than 2 months left before the agreement between him and Uchiha Madara. It seemed that time was not enough for Quan Yu to cultivate the bloodline of the wind attribute. Even if there was time to accelerate, this time was too tight. But Quan Yu is not worried. I see, Quan Yu, pay more attention to rest yourself, Bai nodded and said. She could feel Quan Yu's excitement, and she thought that his cultivation had new ideas. Bai didn't stay much, and left here immediately. She didn't want to disturb Quan Yu. Quan Yu felt the breeze blowing from his body. Don't worry, I will be able to master you soon. Quan Yu's body was suspended, and quickly flew into the building of Sky City. Soon he appeared in a hall. Here again, how long are you going to practice? Nine Tails, who was lying on the side, opened his eyes and glanced at Quan Yu. Hey, the smelly fox is going to be unlucky again, a shrill voice sounded. Ugly civet cat, I think you are going to be beaten. Nine Tails stood up directly and plunged into the darkness instantly. Who is afraid of anyone? Just a few more tails. I really thought you were the boss, the shrill voice was still chattering. But Isobu and Saiken walked out slowly. Quan Yu shook his head and laughed, then a little flame burst out from his hand, and then with a wave of his hand, he lit the candle in the hall. The hall suddenly brightened up. I saw that Nine Tails was fighting with a strange creature that looked like a civet cat with blue stripes and only one tail. However, it was obviously not an opponent of Nine Tails, and was directly crushed under him. I think you are still arrogant, you have the ability to let me go. It is the Shuhei after the resurrection. When he was practicing before Quan Yu, Shohei's chakra reacted. Under Isofu's persuasion, Shozuru finally decided to help Quan Yu. But fortunately, it doesn't know that Nine Tails is here in Quan Yu, otherwise, based on their relationship, killing it will not help Quan Yu. After Kuan Yu helped him complete the seal, Shuhei knew that Nine Tails was here, and immediately regretted it. There is no way to escape, it has too little chakra, and there is no way to break through the seal. After running a few times, I was caught back. Well, Shuhei, Nine Tails don't fight anymore. I will be practicing for the last time soon. This time I need your full support, Kuan Yu said. Huh, please be careful. Nine Tails let go of Shuhei dissatisfied. I said, boy Kuan Yu, have you found a direction? You can't cultivate anything without a direction, Nine Tails said dissatisfied. As the Nine Tails who helped Kuan Yu cultivate for the longest time, of course he knew what Kuan Yu was cultivating. It also knew that Kuan Yu had encountered a bottleneck and got stuck in the last step. I'm not going to help you, you actually let Kurama out, Shozuru felt sulking on the ground. You say it again, Nine Tails looked at Shuhei maliciously. Well, I have found the direction, but time is a bit tight, so I need your help together, Kuan Yu said. After this time, I don't need your help anymore. When the other tail beasts are rescued, after you choose your partner, I will give you a piece of land to set you free. With more and more people in the Sky City, the tail beasts are no longer suitable for appearing in front of people, so they will stay here. Very well, what we promised will also be given to you, Nine Tails looks like a boss. I haven't agreed yet, Shuhei said unwillingly. I agree, Isofu said. I agree too, Saiken also said. Then they looked at Shuhei, who was uncomfortable being seen. If those trapped guys agree, I also agree, let's say yes first. I said. So much nonsense from there, Nine Tails went up and gave Shuhei a claw. Well, come to my space, Kuan Yu said. Isofu and Saiken walked to Kuan Yu's side, and Nine Tails also grabbed Shuhei's tail and dragged it over. They disappeared here in an instant. Kuan Yu, your space has grown a lot, Jifu said in surprise. HMPH, don't look at who helped him get it, Nine Tails said triumphantly. Thinking of those tragic days, Nine Tails shuddered. It is not enough to absorb the natural energy every day, and it is necessary to post a part of it to make it wonder if it is going to be sucked to death. It was also recently that Kuan Yu didn't expand its space, and it didn't take long to cultivate before it recovered. Isn't there a lot of chakra? What's so great? Shuhei said in a low voice. What did you say? Nine Tails swept fierce eyes. It's okay to have this big space, this time I mainly use your chakra to speed up the time. Moreover, the required area is relatively large, and the time flow rate has to be adjusted higher, so a lot of yin and yang escape is needed, Kuan Yu explained. Why do you want such a large area? Nine Tails asked suspiciously. In the past, Kuan Yu was only a small range of time acceleration, and did not affect a large amount of space. And it didn't enter the area of time acceleration, which also made it feel that its yin and yang escape was frantically drawn. In addition, Kuan Yu has to expand the space, and needs more yin and yang escape. As a last resort, it can only let Kuan Yu take part of its body to the outside world, constantly absorbing natural energy. Fortunately, it is Nine Tails absorbed fast enough, and its own yin and yang escaped enough, so that it was not drained by Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu formed a seal, and a large number of roots spread out from him, forming a clone. So, you want to speed up time with the clone, Nine Tails suddenly realized. It is indeed very efficient to do this, but the clone also occupies a part of the area, which leads to a large increase in the need for yin and yang to escape. No way, we only have more than 2 months, and I just found the direction of the wind attribute. Without reference, it is more difficult to practice than other attributes, Kuan Yu explained. Okay, the old way, let our body out and leave the tail here. But you pay attention, don't smoke them too much. Nine Tails said. I know, Kuan Yu nodded and said. I don't know what's going on. It is difficult for natural energy without a carrier to enter his space. Unless Kuan Yu takes the initiative to lead it, even if Kuan Yu opens the space, it will not automatically flow in. Kuan Yu thought it might be the reason why his own space and the real space were not completely connected together. Therefore, Nine Tails can only absorb natural energy conversion outside, and provide yin and yang escape for Kuan Yu through their tails. The avatars quickly sit cross-legged, very close to each other, to minimize the space required. And Nine Tails, their bodies appear in the outside world, leaving their tails in space. Kuan Yu flew to an empty position in the clone and sat down. Suddenly a mysterious force enveloped them. Kuan Yu and his clone seemed to be shaking constantly. But in fact, Kuan Yu and the others did not move, just because of the acceleration of time. The changes in their bodies became obvious when they breathed. It looks like it is shaking. This is too outrageous, Shuhei just got down exclaimed. It was the first time to help Kuan Yu to provide yin and yang escape, and he was taken aback by the speed of sucking. This is where I got there. I was much better than this when I was alone. Now I know the benefits of chakra, Nine Tails said triumphantly. It's better to absorb the natural energy as much as possible, Ji Fu reminded. Thinking of the previous experience, he was scared for a while, but it was really almost drained by Kuan Yu. Saiken stood there without speaking. He didn't like to speak. When will this be done? Shuhei cried out sadly. Nine Tails smiled disdainfully, so you can't bear it? It knows what Kuan Yu is going through, his almost endless cultivation, plus the memory of his clone. Although I have to take a break from time to time, it is scary enough. And he has been practicing this kind of cultivation for almost a year, and under the circumstances that time has accelerated, his cultivation time has almost reached more than 10 years. Even Nine Tails had to admire Kuan Yu, which is why it chose to help Kuan Yu despite complaining. This guy really achieved an astonishing level with his own efforts. It still remembers the power that Kuan Yu burst out at that moment last time. It was a power that made it fear too. Although it didn't last long, it was amazing enough. And this time, he has to reach the limit in another aspect and gain the ultimate strength. It is hard to imagine how he can achieve this level in such a short time. Nine Tails' body fell down and began to quietly absorb natural energy. Uchiha Madara stood quietly in a forest, walked in, and saw that both his eyes were closed. Suddenly, one of his eyes suddenly opened. Shen Luo Tianzheng. It was as if an invisible wave shot out from around his body. But there was no change in the surroundings, and it didn't exclude everything as before. Puff puff. The big trees fell continuously, and their trunks seemed to be cut open by a sharp knife. I don't know how far it has spread. The cut surface is smooth and flat, but shouldn't this be caused by Shenluo Tianzheng? Master Madara is getting more and more powerful, and he actually compressed the repulsion of Shenluo Tianzheng to the limit, said Zhu from the ground. It turned out that Madara compressed the Shenluo Tianzheng together and formed a blade-like attack before cutting these big trees open. Oh, for that guy, he can see this kind of thing at a glance. What he was doing recently, the time is almost up, Madara said without looking back. It seems to be still cultivating, but it has hardly appeared recently, Zhu said. Don't even let it go. It seems that he is not confident in his own strength. Madara smiled wickedly. You don't worry that he will. Zhu frowned and said. Worried that he won't give Rinnegan to me? Madara said with a sneer. No, he should have cultivated that kind of power to ultimate. The instantaneous explosive power is quite terrifying. This should be the reason why he thought he could beat me. However, he has no chance. Even if his master has that kind of power, he can still make himself immortal after using it, but he can't use it for too long. In front of me he is doomed to fail because my cards are stronger. Ha ha ha. Madara laughed wildly. After a while, Madara stopped. I asked Orochimaru to prepare things, are you ready? I don't want to be surprised, Madara said. It's done, I checked, those chakras should barely be enough, Zhu said. Very well. Send invitations to the villages. The place for the duel will be in the Valley of End. Looking back on the last battle there, it makes me a little excited. I hope Kuan Yu won't let me down, and the audience has arranged it. This is the last battle. I hope they can see it too. Got it, absolutely lowered his head and said. This is indeed the last battle. I hope you enjoy it, Zhu thought in his heart. Uchiha Madara's invitations were sent to the villages one after another. So the whole ninja world became nervous. Many people want to watch this fate-determining battle. But at this level of battle, ordinary ninjas may be killed in one aftermath. There can be watched by these people. As a result, the Valley of the End was blocked for 100 kilometers. But someone still tried to sneak in there, but they were all caught. This time it was the 5 villages alliance, and all outside forces dared not provoke it. In the meeting room. In addition to Tsunade, Gokage has already arrived here in advance. The Valley of End is the closest to the Land of Fire, so she wants to arrange it. Kuan Yu hasn't come out yet, Terumi Mei said while looking at Keiko. She was also a little nervous. If Kuan Yu couldn't beat Uchiha Madara, it would be really troublesome. And Kuan Yu hasn't come out yet, is he still unsure? No, but it should be coming soon. Kuan Yu came out to explain once before, Keiko said. She was confident in Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu asked you to wait for him in the Valley of End first. He will come by the time, Keiko continued. How can this work? Let's wait for him here, 4th Raikage said excitedly. What's the hurry? We have nothing to do here, so we might as well arrange it in the past. Onoki looked calm. This makes 4th generation a little puzzled. Onoki has a quick temper. Why is he not in a hurry at this time? That said, we have to believe in Kuan Yu. Let's wait for him in the Valley of End, Gaara stood up and said. Oh, okay, Fourth Raikage sighed. He knew it was useless to be anxious now. Then they left here. Onoki stood on the flying boat and looked back at the Sky City, his eyes flashing cold. But it immediately converged and returned to a calm appearance. Huh. Nine Tails looked around suspiciously, as if it felt a flash of malice. It shook his head. Let him go. Human beings are inherently complicated. Who knows when that person accidentally moved with evil thoughts? That's why the guy Quan Yu hasn't come out yet. The time is approaching. It's not coming out yet. Didn't it mean it's over? Shuhei lay on the ground with a look of malaise. It's only the matter of the past few days. Hold on to it, Jifu said. Its condition is not good. The yin and yang escape consumes too much. Just at this time, Quan Yu's body appeared instantaneously, and the tails of several tail beasts also left the space. Thanks for your hard work. Quan Yu bowed to Nine Tails earnestly. Huh. Nine Tails let out a surprise. It found that the power fluctuations in Quan Yu's body disappeared, and the whole person seemed to be one, if it weren't for the natural energy lingering in Quan Yu's body. It thought it was Quan Yu deliberately converging. And it was the old man of 6 paths that gave it this feeling last time. You succeeded, Nine Tails said in surprise. Quan Yu nodded. The other tail beasts also noticed the changes in Quan Yu's body, and were also a little curious. In the past, no matter how much Quan Yu constricted, they could feel the pressure on Quan Yu's body. But now it has completely disappeared. Now that Madara is dead, let's see how he catches us in the future, he said, lying on the ground. Don't underestimate him. I will send you to Mount Myoboku, where you can quickly regain your strength and be safer, Quan Yu said softly. Quan Yu, the passage to Mount Myoboku has been kept, just to allow the tail beasts to hide there. Otherwise, what should I do if I was attacked? After Rinnegan returned to Madara, the agreement expired, and he had no bargaining chips to contain Madara. Although he is not necessarily afraid of Madara in 6 paths mode, he should be more conservative. Okay. It's safer there, just can't see your battle anymore, Nine Tails said. It thought for a while, and said, reach out your hand. Quan Yu stretched out his hand suspiciously. He didn't know what Nine Tails was going to do. Then Nine Tails put its paws on Quan Yu's hand. Shuhei glanced at Nine Tails, then stood up and put his hand on Quan Yu's hand. So are Isofu and Seiken. Quan Yu instantly felt a wave of chakra enter his body. Immediately Quan Yu knew what they were going to do. He transferred these chakras to the 100 healings mark. Otherwise he would be easily wiped out by his power if he stayed in the body. Through these chakras, we can contact you. Nine Tails' voice was transmitted to Quan Yu's consciousness. Okay. I will also pass on the fighting pictures to you, Quan Yu said with a smile. This is similar to Naruto clashing with the tail beasts in the original book. However, Quan Yu felt that this amount was a bit too much. It seemed that it was not just some chakra, but also some yin and yang escape. This is equivalent to they sealed a part of their body in Quan Yu's body so that they can transmit the picture. If you can see Quan Yu's 100 healings mark, you can find several red chakras rotating around Quan Yu's yin and yang avatar. Okay, send us over. With your current strength, it should be no problem to deal with Uchiha Madara, but I still remind you to be careful of 10 Tails, Nine Tails said. Of course, Quan Yu said with a smile. Then he waved his hand, and he and a few tail beasts disappeared. When they reappear, they have come to Mount Myoboku. So rich natural energy, Shuhei said in surprise. This level of natural energy is that it does not take the initiative to absorb it, and it can recover quickly. Funny, Nine Tails said disdainfully. This directly attracted Shohei's glaring. As soon as Quan Yu appeared, Toad Sage felt it. Tailed beasts will be put here for you temporarily, Quan Yu said softly. He knew that Toad Sage could hear him. Let's go. I will take you to Naruto, Quan Yu waved his hand. A few tail beasts floated up, and then Quan Yu flew forward with them quickly. Hey, this is wind style. Morizuru felt the difference all at once. It clearly felt that the air was automatically taking it to move. But there was no wind around it, as if the force of the wind only acted on it. Wind style single attribute bloodline is actually a power that controls kinetic energy. If you want to study, I can tell you how to practice, Quan Yu said with a smile. Shuhei is the only tail beast that can seal, which shows that tail beasts also have a way to practice ninjutsu. Forget it. I don't want to practice, he said lazily. Not promising. Nine Tails cast a glance at Shohei. Are you promising? I still have attributes anyhow. You haven't seen you cultivate your attributes for so many years, he retorted immediately. So Nine Tails quarreled with Shuhei again. However, due to Quan Yu's restrictions, they can't do it, otherwise it's really possible to fight again. Tailed beasts are inherently powerful, which is why they don't practice much. And their personalities are also difficult to change, which should be caused by them. Maybe Sage of Six Paths, who created the tail beast, knew the reason. The tail beast was split from the chakra of 10 tails, but how did 10 tails form? This is not mentioned in the original book. It seems that 10 tails cannot master the natural energy without the 9 tails. This is also a special place. But now is not the time to think about this. Send the tail beast to Naruto, he has to go to the battlefield. The Sky City also has to move, but there, otherwise, what should I do if someone comes to steal the house? Although it is not safe there, at least it is under Quan Yu's nose. When Quan Yu saw Naruto, Naruto was playing against Jiraiya. Some toads were also there to watch. The fight was fierce, and Naruto obviously worked hard during this period. There is no change in Naruto's moves, Shadow Clone plus Rasengan. His ninjutsu talent is simply unsightly. The only 2 ninjutsu that can be used are quite skilled, but they are too monotonous. However, if you practice Quan Yu's adaptation of Shienju, Naruto's strength can also be greatly improved, and it won't have much impact if you don't learn other ninjutsu. Just have to wait for a while. 9 Tails, you never considered helping Naruto, Quan Yu said to 9 Tails next to him. Silly boy. Why should I help him? 9 Tails said with a curled mouth. Don't say that. Naruto will become a member of parliament in the future. It is your partner. You don't want to find another one, right? Moreover, as far as the situation is now, Naruto's strength is that although Chakra's relationship is not weak, it is still very different from other Jinchuriki, which is a bit inconsistent with your status. Quan Yu said with a smile. It's just right, I just need to cover him in the future, 9 Tails said nonchalantly. Oh, Shozoru's partner is Gaara. Compared with him, Naruto is a lot worse. Quan Yu glanced at Shozoru next to him and said. Naruto's immortality is to be retrained. Without the blessing of immortality, Naruto's strength will decrease a lot. Hey, that's right, Gaara is very strong, unlike some guy, Shuhei said triumphantly. HMPH, don't think I don't know what your idea is. 9 Tails stared at Quan Yu and said dissatisfiedly. Haha, Naruto is still possible. He may be able to practice immortality, and he can live for a long time, or be with you for a long time. Get along well. Quan Yu did not continue to ask. It's still a long time anyway. Naruto and 9 Tails will become good friends sooner or later. When 9 Tails heard Quan Yu's words, her expression changed a little. Quan Yu. Naruto waved over there. When he found Quan Yu was coming, he stopped with Jiraiya. Huh. Why haven't you come to see me for so long? It's so boring to stay here, Naruto gasped and said in dissatisfaction. Naruto, Quan Yu is very busy. Why has so much time come to see you? Jiraiya walked over and said. Then he looked at Quan Yu with a serious expression. Quan Yu, the time is coming. Quan Yu nodded. Just these few days, after I put the tail beast here, I'm going to prepare. Master Jiraiya is going to watch the game. Watching the game, I want to go too, Naruto said with bright eyes. What a silly boy, 9 Tails said with a headache. Did he not know where Jinchuriki is dangerous? Hey, this is 9 Tails. Naruto only noticed the 9 tails behind Quan Yu. He also looked at the other tail beasts. Aren't 9 tails in my body, and how did they become so small? Naruto reached out his hand to touch 9 tails. Depends on Naruto's hand is about to touch 9 tails. Click 9 tails bit into Naruto's hand in one bite. Ah, let go, let go. After a while, Naruto looked at the swollen hand with a grievance. I'm telling you, I will follow my uncle well in the future, and your benefits will be indispensable, 9 Tails said with a smug look. Naruto didn't expect that the 9 tails in his body were not complete, but only half. And it's fierce. Quan Yu shook his head helplessly, regardless of how 9 Tails and Naruto get along. It's okay if Naruto wants to go, but it depends on whether 9 Tails wants it or not, Quan Yu thought for a while and said. As long as 9 Tails distributes its chakra to Naruto, Uchiha Madara will not be able to summoning out 9 Tails. You made my idea again, I don't want to do it, 9 Tails said uncomfortably. Master Quan Yu, we have a way to see the scene of the battle, Shen Zuo said respectfully. After hearing Shen Zuo's words, Quan Yu didn't say anything anymore. It is undoubtedly much safer to watch here. If that's the case, then I'll go first, and I'll trouble you all here. Quan Yu disappeared here in a flash. Master Shen Zuo, what do you think Chuan Yu has to win? Jiraiya frowned and asked. It should be bigger. You may not feel that Master Quan Yu should be a lot better than last time, Shen Zuo said solemnly. Through the induction of natural energy, it can vaguely feel the changes in Quan Yu's body. What are you worried about? Except for chakra, that kid is a little bit less, and his current strength is almost at the limit. It is impossible to lose, and I can help him when it is critical, Nine Tails said triumphantly. Compared with Nine Tails, Master Kuan Yu has less chakra. But it's just that the master has the yin and yang to escape. The ordinary chakra Chuanyu is no longer inferior to the tail beast, and it can absorb natural energy at any time. However, Nine Tails said that it can help Kuan Yu, so I don't know what happened. So strong. Naruto exclaimed. What do you know? You haven't seen how crazy his cultivation is. You don't know how much your cultivation is inferior to him. It's really shameful to me, Nine Tails said with disdain. I have worked very hard, Naruto said awkwardly. Jiraiya doesn't think so. That's Uchiha Madara. Kuan Yu can improve, but Uchiha Madara will not improve. Jiraiya's perception of strength is still in the ninja's mind, and it is not surprising to have such concerns. Now Kuan Yu doesn't even know how strong he is. He can use almost all ninjutsu abilities through shaping. Of course, special abilities such as the prison on the edge of the tomb, Kuan Yu, cannot be used yet, and this already involves space. The complete control of the 5 elements yin and yang means that Kuan Yu can start the 6 paths mode, and the energy master has reached the limit. Physically, the 7 layers of activation have been activated, and through this period of adaptation, he can turn on for longer and has a stronger burst of power. At this level, this has almost reached Kuan Yu's limit. Compared with the general Otsutsuki, it may only be the difference in the amount of chakra, but it is not known how much stronger it is in the application of energy. Kuan Yu returned to the Sky City, and then slowly walked towards the conference room. The ninjas and samurai encountered along the way respectfully saluted Kuan Yu. They also knew that the fate-determining battle was about to begin. Kuan Yu, your lord must win, a ninja shouted while looking at Kuan Yu's back. Kuan Yu turned around and smiled slightly, sure victory. The ninja was also taken aback. He didn't expect Kuan Yu to respond to him. Sure. The ninja shouted excitedly, and his shout seemed to ignite everyone's emotions. Sure victory. Sure victory. Everyone shouted with excitement, and the voice directly enveloped the entire Sky City. Kuan Yu's response also brought them ample confidence. Kuan Yu walked forward amidst the shouts with a smile. Confidence still had to be given to them. After working hard for so long, he will not lose, nor can he lose. Even Kagaya has to kneel down for me. Kuan Yu's eyes flickered. Kuan Yu, you are here. When Kuan Yu walked to the door, Keiko was already waiting there. She also heard shouts from outside. Well, are everyone here? Kuan Yu nodded and said. All are waiting for you inside, Keiko said. Kuan Yu nodded, and then walked in slowly. As soon as he entered the door, everyone's eyes focused on Kuan Yu. Itachi and Sasuke stood together, Shirago and Suizuki stood together. Kabuto and Shenong stand together. The heads of the offices in the villages are all here. They all looked at Kuan Yu, and no one spoke. An era is about to end, and we are bound to usher in a new era. Unfortunately, I can only play the last moments, Kuan Yu said with a smile, looking very relaxed. Still no one speaks. Kuan Yu's expression became a little awkward. Don't be so nervous, it makes me seem to lose. I am very strong, Kuan Yu said helplessly. Puff the Black Soil couldn't help it, and quickly covered his mouth. If you want to laugh, laugh, Shenong, control the city in the sky, we will go to the Valley of End, Kuan Yu ordered. Yes, Shenong said with a bow, and then left quickly. Kuan Yu walked to the main position. Sit all sit, Kuan Yu greeted him, and then he sat down. The others hesitated and all sat down. Kuan Yu, is it really okay? Kakashi asked. If there are any problems, you can just look at it, Kuan Yu said lightly. But the easier Kuan Yu said, the more nervous they became, and their brows frowned. Is it necessary to be so nervous? Kuan Yu said silently. He is already working hard to create a relaxed atmosphere. Hey, forget it. There is still some time to reach the Valley of End. I will tell you about the concept of cultivation in the future, Kuan Yu said. In the future, he will create immortal civilization, and some concepts will also be passed on through them. He hadn't been free before, but now he has time, so it's okay to tell them in advance. Also give them some confidence. Concept. Everyone was puzzled. Why did Kuan Yu suddenly talk about this? Shouldn't we talk about how to deal with Uchiha Madara? Shanshu? Gaara asked. No, it's not very accurate to describe it with Shanshu, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Others are not clear about it, but seeing Kuan Yu still in the mood to talk about this, he knows that he is confident. I prefer to use cultivation to describe it, Kuan Yu said. Cultivation? Everyone was taken aback, they didn't understand the meaning of this term. It means to cultivate the true meaning and become an immortal, Kuan Yu explained. To be honest, he doesn't understand, but who can't fool you? The meaning is almost enough. In the future, the practice will no longer focus on cultivating ninjutsu and other skills, but will pay more attention to the change of oneself and the improvement of the essence of life. Ninjas use mental energy and physical energy to synthesize chakra, and increase the capacity and purity of chakra in continuous practice. I call this step the refinement of gas. Almost all ninjas are only at this step. Everyone frowned. It was difficult for them to understand. Of course they know that chakra is important, but they also have to use ninjutsu to use it. Kuan Yu's meaning seems to be to put chakra first and ninjutsu training second. But chakra alone can't show off their strengths. Ninjas pay more attention to skills. So there is a higher degree? Sasuke asked with a frown. His chakra talent is not very good, of course. This is also compared with Naruto. The skills that he has always valued are abandoned, which makes him a little unwilling. Of course, when chakra reaches a certain level, it must enter the stage of entraining air into the body. At this stage, it is necessary to absorb natural energy into the body, but I prefer to call natural energy spiritual energy, Kuan Yu said with a smile. He wants to completely change the world, even his thoughts. Aura is more powerful, mixed into its own chakra. It can make chakra more powerful. This kind of chakra is the fairy chakra, and I also gave him a new name, Junyuan. Kuan Yu said excitedly. After playing cultivation in the ninja world, how could he not excite him? When the true essence is formed, the body will become stronger when it is replenished, and other aspects will also be strengthened. More importantly, it can nurture the original consciousness and strengthen the soul. I call this stage the stage of refining Qi Washan, and I am also at this stage, Kuan Yu said with a smile. That's right. Kuan Yu calls that kind of special will-based consciousness, which is higher than the soul. What? Everyone was surprised. In other words, we have cultivated to this stage so that we can be as strong as you, Sasuke said excitedly. Although they don't quite understand what Kuan Yu is talking about, they still feel excited if they think that Tao can be as strong as Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu's strength is obvious to all. Of course, apart from the application of power, there is a gap between us, but there is not much difference in nature, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Without giving them some sweetness, why would they work hard to cultivate? How can he fulfill his dream if he doesn't work hard to cultivate? I can even be stronger than me, but it will take a lot of time, maybe 100 years, maybe 1,000 years, Kuan Yu said maliciously. Everyone was speechless for a while. They were afraid that they would die for so long. Who could live so long? Only Gaara's eyes moved. Gaara explain, Kuan Yu said with a smile. Gaara nodded and said, once the true essence is cultivated, the lifespan of human beings will be extended, so we also have a chance. What? Everyone was surprised. Extend your life. This is simply incredible. Good understanding quickly. Kuan Yu was very happy to hear the word Junyuan from Gaara's mouth. True Yuan will delay the aging of human cells, and of course they can live longer. But I don't know how long you can live, but the more aura you absorb, the higher the purity of the true essence in your body, the longer you can live. It's okay even for 1,000 years, and when your original consciousness is strong to a certain extent, you can even be immortal. Kuan Yu threw the ultimate bomb. This is almost a way to reach the peak, many times better than the ninja light enhancing practice method. At this point, you are qualified to be called an immortal, or the god in your mouth. Everyone's heart is overwhelmed. Kuan Yu's words are too shocking and emotional. Even Gaara couldn't believe it. Kuan Yu hadn't said this before. Kuan Yu, you mean you have reached? Kakashi said in shock. If Kuan Yu did not reach it, it would be impossible to know this. Of course, to be precise, ordinary means can no longer kill me, at most destroy my body, or seal me. Destroying my consciousness can only be done by special methods, Kuan Yu said without concealment. What? Everyone was surprised again. They didn't expect Kuan Yu to have reached this point, immortal. What is Uchiha Madara? No matter how strong he is, he cannot kill Kuan Yu. However, there is no time to create the exercise right now. This is just an idea. Kuan Yu poured cold water on them. However, they are not worried about not being able to create it. Kuan Yu should have completed the theory since he said it. Kuan Yu himself is the best proof. The most difficult step is the step of entraining the air into the body. The difference between one step is the difference between the immortal and the common. This requires a certain amount of talent. There are very few human beings with celestial talents. At present, I just found that I am only Shigeo. Like those novels in the previous life, if you can't absorb aura, you will never be able to take that step. Even if there is a way to reduce the difficulty later, not everyone can practice. Everyone looked at Shigeo, with unspeakable envy in their eyes. Shigeo touched his head in embarrassment, but what he was originally feared turned into an advantage. However, I will reduce the difficulty. If I don't succeed in cultivation, I can't help it, Kuan Yu continued. Everyone is silent. This is a brand new concept of cultivation. No one knows whether he has talent or not. Okay, I'm talking about combat. After you have cultivated the true essence, the power of ninjutsu will be greatly enhanced, and all aspects will be improved in an all-round way. As you all know, I won't say much. This is only the first stage. Next, if you practice hard and nurture your original consciousness, you can master yin and yang escape, and then you can do this. A small sword flew out of Kuan Yu's palm, and everyone could see that this small sword emerged directly from Kuan Yu's body. Everyone was taken aback by how Kuan Yu put the sword in his body. Even if it's so small, isn't it possible? Why didn't you see the wound? Kuan Yu smiled slightly, ignoring the shock of everyone. The small sword in his hand instantly grew bigger and turned into a long sword. It shocked everyone. How did this happen? The flying sword began to dance around Kuan Yu, and it was getting faster and faster. There was the sound of the air being cut all around. It was conceivable what kind of damage would be caused by this kind of weapon attack. And Sasuke directly turned on Sharingan, but didn't see the chakra thread at all. This sword flies out of thin air. Is this your special ability? Sasuke asked. Others also found the problem, because Kuan Yu himself could fly out of thin air. Sasuke had this question, and he had used similar abilities before. No, the sword itself is flying, Kuan Yu said. This sword is from Kuan Yu's use of space transformation to cut the wind, and some chakra metal is added to it. There are some common materials on Zhangfang, such as knife handles and handguards, which need to be replaced with chakra metal. And since you want to cultivate immortality, it is not appropriate to use a katana. So it was changed into a sword shape by Kuan Yu. Originally, Kuan Yu only wanted to make a flying sword, and then injected yin and yang escape into it for warmth, and it was also convenient for him to control the flight. But later it was discovered that yin-yang dun directly changed the nature of this sword, into a form similar to energy, but also possessed the attributes of a sword. That's why Kuan Yu can control this sword to change its size and even enter the body. I can control this sword through the aura's induction, so that I can attack the enemy from a long distance. Kuan Yu said. This sword is already similar to yin-yang dun, and it also contains Kuan Yu's will, which of course can be manipulated out of thin air. But it is a bit difficult to achieve Kuan Yu's. Of course this is a general method, and Kuan Yu doesn't need to be so complicated to control this sword. Cultivation is miraculous, showing step by step in front of everyone. This is a world of difference from their previous practice. Even Rinnegan is not comparable in the face of comprehension, not only has great power, but can also live forever. Isn't it amazing? But cultivation is not just that. There are still many unknowns waiting for us to explore, and all I know is just a drop in the ocean, Kuan Yu said lightly. Everyone was so shocked by Kuan Yu that they could not speak. After a long while, they will come to their senses, and then they will discuss each other. The words were full of excitement. After a while. Okay. Let's all go to rest. It's boring to sit here. Kuan Yu reached it with sight, and was about to let them go. He is just to arouse their interest and prepare for subsequent promotion. After all, this is a new culture, and it takes a process for everyone to accept it. Sooner or later, he will change this world into his ideal world. After everyone left, Kuan Yu, Hizzy came to Kuan Yu's side. What's wrong with Keiko? Kuan Yu saw the worry on Keiko's face. If I don't have the talent to cultivate, would it? Keiko said hesitantly. How is this possible? Sage body is not called for nothing, Kuan Yu said with a smile. He knew what Keiko was worried about, but it was because she was old and Kuan Yu could live a long time. Sage body is not just more than chakra, it directly meets the standard of fairy magic practice. And this is the result of the Otsutsuki gene being dominant in Keiko. The Otsutsuki clan is also inextricably linked with 10 Tails, which controls natural energy. Although Otsutsuki may not be able to practice celestial arts, Kuan Yu did not see any of them who could use celestial arts anyway. But if there is a spring, you can do it. The big deal, Kuan Yu implanted yin escape will in Hizzy's body to form a clone to help her absorb natural energy. Then let Keiko exercise her will and learn to control chakra. Can also achieve results. Although you can't practice by yourself, it can also extend your life. He said this to let Keiko not worry. He has a way to make Keiko live longer, and he can do it in his own space. A smile appeared on Hizzy's face. She didn't care how long she could live, but wanted to be with Kuan Yu for a long time. Otherwise, Quan Yu can stay alive, and his relatives and himself are dead, which would be too lonely. Keiko looked at Quan Yu tenderly. And time slowly passed, and the Sky City flew away thinking of the Valley of End. The Valley of the End. 2 huge stone statues are still standing there, and a waterfall is left between them. Above that is a big lake. The lake is wide, full of brilliance, and the scenery is quite beautiful. But it will soon be restless here. On the shore of the lake, apart from Gaara waiting in the Sky City because he is a member of the Sky Council, the other 4 shadows are standing here. They didn't bring many ninjas with the team, because it was useless, and the number of them in front of the 2 had no meaning. Why haven't you come? Isn't there news that Chuan Yu has come out? 4th Raikage said anxiously. What's the hurry? Uchiha Madara hasn't come yet, Terumi Mei said. Tsunade didn't speak, and he didn't know what he was thinking when he looked at the lake. Onoki didn't speak either. Makes the atmosphere a little strange. Here, Tsunade said suddenly. 4th Raikage and Terumi Mei were taken aback. Why they didn't feel anything. Opposite them, a time and space Uzumaki appeared, and several figures appeared there instantly. It is Uchiha Madara, Obito, Ju, and Orochimaru, who are standing on the water, looking at Tsunade and others. One of Madara's Rinnegan glanced across. Isn't here yet? It's really slow, Madara said lightly. Hee. Even Quan Yu has to prepare more for a character like Madara-sama, Orochimaru, who dangled his hair and covered one eye, laughed. Really, but I didn't expect that you managed to make a Mangekyo, even though it was rubbish. Madara didn't care about Orochimaru's compliment, and said nonchalantly. It's just good luck, but this is already the limit, and it just made up for my lack of illusion skills, Orochimaru said humbly. Then his covered eyes were revealed, where there was a 3-tomo Sharingan. It seems that Orochimaru hid the important things and got a Sharingan to confuse Uchiha Madara. I don't mind you for helping us so much, but you'd better not move anything you shouldn't have, Madara said with squinting eyes. He didn't trust Orochimaru, but after this time, he couldn't figure out any tricks. It was also when he saw Orochimaru again that he discovered that Orochimaru was diffusing pupils, and then he knew that he had disappeared for so long, and he was actually studying Sharingan. He also made a somewhat weak Mangekyo, which surprised him slightly. But with such a weak pupil power, he didn't care at all. Thank you Madara-sama, Orochimaru said with a smile. Obito asked, when will Izumi come? Madara didn't care about Orochimaru, but told Obito. Obito still hasn't revealed his true face, which is why Quan Yu hasn't revealed his identity. He wants to take off the mask when Kakashi is desperate, and let him taste the pain. Obito nodded, and moved toward Tsunade. Someone is here, Terumi Mei said solemnly. It should be here to ask about the situation, Tsunade said. How long will Quan Yu arrive? Obito said not far from them. I don't know, but they have already set off, Tsunade said. Hey, he's not unsure, but whether he comes or not, you will all die today, Obito grinned coldly. You. 4th Raikage was anxious. Don't pay attention to him, let's wait for Quan Yu to come over. Tsunade stopped 4th Raikage and said. HMPH, you should be careful, otherwise it won't be certain who will die by then, 4th Raikage said with a cold snort. I remember what you said, after Quan Yu fails, I will be fine. Obito frowned, he felt something. A shadow immediately covered this place, and the huge shadow told him that something huge appeared in the sky. He looked at the sky, a huge sky fortress, breaking through the clouds and slowly falling. Even his base has been brought. I'm bold enough, but it just happens to be a one-time solution, Obito said with a sneer. He glanced at Tsunade and them, there was no Kakashi there, and then he flashed around and moved towards Madara. Here, Tsunade said, looking at the Sky City that appeared. Onoki's eyes flashed too. 4 figures slowly fell from the sky, it was Quan Yu, Gaara, Sasuke, and Itachi. As they descended, the Sky City was slowly rising, and soon moved away from here. Although this city has enchantment protection, it can't withstand 2 strong attacks, so Quan Yu let them stay away. Moreover, he has left behind, so there is no need to worry about lack of force. Nagato and Konan, who haven't shown up much, are right there. They are no longer interested in fighting, and have never appeared in front of people because of their status. Soon, the clerks of Kakashi, Black Earth, Darui, Konkuro, and Chojuro who remained in the Sky Council also controlled the flying equipment to fall. After Quan Yu and the others fell not far from Tsunade, Tsunade and the others came over. Quan Yu, you didn't bring the tail beast here, right? Tsunade asked. Quan Yu was taken aback. No, how could I bring the tail beast over? I'm relieved. I'm really afraid that you will be bold enough to bring the tail beast. Tsunade seemed to be relieved, and said with a smile. I'm not so stupid, Kuan Yu smiled. The others wanted to say something, but a voice came. Kuan Yu, where's my stuff? It is the voice of Uchiha Madara. Kuan Yu shook his head and smiled. He couldn't wait, but Rinnegan was really important to Ben. Sasuke sends things over. Kuan Yu grabbed it casually, took out a box, and handed it to Sasuke. After Sasuke took it, he nodded, and then jumped over there. Tsunade frowned. Kuan Yu, what did you give Madara? Tsunade asked. You said that, it's Rinnegan from Madara, Kuan Yu said lightly. What? The eyes of Tsunade and others were full of horror. They never thought that Kuan Yu sent Rinnegan to him, and when Kuan Yu got it. Is it because Madara didn't pay attention to get it from Nagato? They also knew that Nagato's Rinnegan belonged to Madara. This is an agreement with Madara, and it's okay to give it back to him. Everyone was speechless for a while. Isn't Kuan Yu adding strength to the opponent? But this also shows Kuan Yu's confidence in winning. Otherwise Kuan Yu would not be able to return Rinnegan back so easily. It's just that Tsunade's eyes flickered. Rinnegan, what a precious thing, he didn't expect to be here in Kuan Yu. And Sasuke was at Madara's side at this time. This is your thing. Sasuke didn't approach, and threw the box to Madara. Of course Orochimaru knew what it was, but he didn't dare to grab it. Otherwise, facing the chase of Kuan Yu and Madara, he had no hope of living. He can only carefully hide the greed in his eyes. Madara took it, then opened it and took a look. I saw Rinnegan in a test tube in the box, which was still filled with blue liquid. Madara knew that this was Kuan Yu's yin and yang escape. It's well preserved. Madara smiled. Now that I am confirmed, I will leave. Sasuke was about to leave. Wait a minute. Madara said aloud. Why, is there any problem? Sasuke said coldly. Don't consider coming to me, I can give you stronger strength, Madara said with a smile. Hehe. Do you really think you can defeat Kuan Yu, and what can you give me, Rinnegan? You think I don't know what is in the box? Kuan Yu can give much more than you think. Sasuke said disdainfully, and then left in a flash. Comprehension is what he wants most, even Rinnegan doesn't like him. Madara's brow furrowed. It was obvious that Sasuke's answer made him a little dissatisfied, but it was not the time to shoot Sasuke. HMPH, you'll know when I defeat Kuan Yu, Madara thought in her heart. Madara took the test tube out of the box, crushed it, and pressed it on his closed eyes. The shards of glass and the blue yin and yang kept escaping from his hand, and Madara put down his hand. A pair of Rinnegan appeared neatly in his eyes. Hehe, so I can give full play to my strength. A powerful wave exploded from Madara's body, shaking the lake and began to turbulent. Retreat. This is my battle alone, Madara snorted coldly. Obito, Ju and Orochimaru looked at each other and jumped back quickly. On the other side, Sasuke has just returned. A strong wave swept here. It's an invitation to fight. Kuan Yu smiled, and he felt Madara notice his gaze. He took a few steps forward. Wait, Kuan Yu, I have something to say, Tsunade said suddenly. What's the teacher? Kuan Yu said suspiciously. Tsunade walked to Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu must be careful this time. Dust escape, the original world peeling technique. In an instant, a cube enveloped everyone around Kuan Yu. What? Onogi, what are you going to do? Fourth Raikage looked at Onogi outside the cube and shouted angrily. No one thought that Onogi would make a sudden move. Grandpa. The black soil that was also enveloped in it also exclaimed. But Onoki looked cold. Damn it, don't move, I'll come. Even Kuan Yu was surprised. This kind of indiscriminate attack, he has to waste a lot of effort to save everyone. Itachi, who was just about to do it, stopped. Others who were preparing to take action stopped. Oyumu's dust escape was already activated, and only Kuan Yu could protect all those who were in dust escape. Sword of Dust Escape, a cylindrical dust emanating from Kuan Yu's hand appeared. He wanted to directly cut the dust of Oyemu, and at the same time the blue 10-star eyes opened, and a large amount of blue flames ignited on his body to envelop everyone. He turned on Susanoo, and when he broke through the dust, an explosion would occur, which was used to resist the aftermath of the explosion. At the same time, he was also wondering why Oyemu wanted to do it at this time. Logically speaking, he knew that he couldn't kill Kuan Yu. Isn't this Onogi? When Kuan Yu was about to do it, Tsunade's eyes flashed by his side. A black rod rushed out of her hand instantly and pierced Kuan Yu's eyes directly. What? Kuan Yu saw Tsunade's movements. But the speed is too fast, and Kuan Yu is busy protecting other people, and he is still using Susanoo. There is no time to bounce off Tsunade. He also didn't expect Tsunade to make a sudden move, obviously this was premeditated. Once Quan Yu revoked Susanoo, not only would he be unable to escape the attack, but other people would also be overwhelmed by the dust. Puff, one of Quan Yu's blue 10-star eyes was pierced, and the black stick wanted to move on, but he was immediately caught by Quan Yu's hand. Third generation, you are ruthless. Quan Yu, with only one eye left, stared at Tsunade closely. By this time he certainly knew that Tsunade was in the disguise of third generation, no wonder he would ask if the tail beast came. Because 9 tails can distinguish malice, which is his biggest flaw. Quan Yu didn't rush to deal with this side, and with a wave of his other hand, the sword of dust escape hit the dust escape of Oyimu, and then with a stroke, a huge explosion suddenly enveloped this place. Everyone was shocked by what happened at this moment. Hee, Quan Yu, who has one eye missing, can you still show that kind of strength? Tsunade's body was slowly deforming. He has become a middle-aged man with black hair, it is third generation, and he looks at Quan Yu with a smile on his face. And Quan Yu also looked at third generation coldly, ignoring the black stick that pierced his eyes. The smoke slowly dissipated. Everyone looked at the two confronting each other there, and Quan Yu's stabbed eyes. There is only one thought in their minds, it's over. Itachi was also a little helpless, and it really happened, but there was more anger in his heart. Does he know what this means? He is joking about the fate of Shinobi, or that he doesn't care about it at all. Oh, there is also a surprise. Madara looked at this scene in surprise. But it's more or less regrettable. Madara shook her head. He has the confidence to defeat Quan Yu, and does not need such an accident, which makes him a lot less fun. He didn't go over, but watched indifferently. With Madara's pride, he doesn't bother to pick up the bargain. What happened over there? Obito said puzzledly. The explosion was so obvious that even they could feel it. There is news from my clone that Quan Yu's eye has been ruined, Ju said in surprise. What? Obito and Orochimaru were dumbfounded. They never expected such an accident. Lan Shixing eyes, it's such a waste, Ju shook his head and said. Who did it? Obito frowned. He felt that this matter was not easy, and Quan Yu should not be so easily destroyed by his eyes. I don't know, my avatar doesn't dare to get too close, but we should be happy, after all, his strength will be greatly weakened, let alone Madara's opponent, Ju said with a smile. As for Shen Zuzhong, Naruto, and the tail beast who have been paying attention to this place, they also looked at the crystal ball in front of them in shock. This is a lot of trouble. Shen Zuo's forehead was full of sweat. I was so careless, I knew I should be taken with me, Nine Tails said silently. However, don't worry, Quan Yu just doesn't want those eyes to be strong enough, Nine Tails said swearingly. Who is this person? Why did you do this? Naruto gritted his teeth, eyes full of anger. He is the third generation. Jiraiya said lowly, his face full of sadness. Third generation. Naruto said in horror, his eyes full of disbelief. He didn't know what third generation was doing recently, and Jiraiya didn't tell him. It doesn't matter who he is dead, isn't one of his eyes destroyed? With Quan Yu's ability, he will soon recover, Nine Tails said with disdain. What? It can be recovered, this is something of the same level as Rinnegan, said in shock. What can't be, he can do everything in Quan Yu's space, as long as he doesn't have 2 eyes destroyed, and can't open the space, restoring 1 eye is just a small thing, Nine Tails explained. Quan Yu can change even time, but it shouldn't be difficult to restore a somewhat broken eye. They were also relieved to hear Nine Tails say this, but there was still a surge in their hearts. It's too much to use such a despicable method. And Quan Yu is here. Why don't you do it yet? Third generation looked at Quan Yu with amusement. Quan Yu grabbed the black stick and slowly pulled it out of his eyes. Do you think that if you do this, I can't help you? Quan Yu looked at third generation indifferently. Quan Yu smashed the black stick and kicked third generation away. Third generation didn't even hide much, so Quan Yu kicked it away directly, and this level of attack didn't hurt him. You stay away a little bit, Quan Yu said faintly, one of his eyes has been closed, and blood is constantly flowing. But. Fourth Raikage wanted to say something. Get away. Quan Yu sneered coldly, with endless anger in his voice. Everyone hesitated, looked at third generation and Onogi warily, and walked away slowly. Hei too looked at Oyemu with an indifferent look, and knew that his grandfather should have been controlled, and retreated from the others unwillingly. Itachi and the others have no expressions. They know that Quan Yu is almost impossible to die, but it is troublesome to have one of his eyes destroyed. Hee, be angry, wait until I solve you, and then I solve Madara, then the ninja world will listen to me, and Konoha will regain glory, third generation stood up and said. Do you know what I am angry about? Quan Yu said lightly. Angry loses an eye, angry loses power, third generation said mockingly. Onoki walked to third generation's side, and a black-gray substance poured out of his body, connected to third generation's body. Grandpa. Black Earth exclaimed. He's out of help, don't come over, your grandfather is already dead, Kuan Yu's voice sounded. That's just the change of the third generation Ghost Loya clone. This kind of camouflage technique is too clever, and even Kuan Yu doesn't see any problems if he doesn't put his vision into their bodies. He too was desperate. He had only thought that her grandfather was controlled by illusion. As long as Kuan Yu killed this person, her grandfather would be sober. But Kuan Yu's words broke her last hope. The black-gray substance was completely absorbed by third generation, and Onoki only had one piece of clothing left. Can you wait for me? Kuan Yu turned his head to look at Madara, and his voice passed. Madara was taken aback for a moment, and suddenly knew Kuan Yu was talking to him. No problem, you can wait as long as you want, Madara laughed. He wanted to see what Kuan Yu would do. After getting Madara's reply, Kuan Yu looked back at third generation, who was still standing there with no action. How is my teacher? Hee, it's my disciple anyway, I won't hurt her, third generation said with a smile. But you are different, you who have lost the blue 10-star eyes, how do you want to deal with me? The blood on Kuan Yu's eyes no longer shed, and the injury has recovered, but if he wants to recreate the blue 10-star eyes, he cannot rely on his recovery. Lanshixing eyes are not ordinary eyes. I'm not the only one with this kind of power, Kuan Yu's aura was rising. Kuan Yu's breathing kept echoing around. The extremely strong chakra fluctuations radiated from Kuan Yu's body, and some purple chakras had appeared outside his body, constantly lingering on Kuan Yu's body. Is it your breathing method? You are really arrogant. Do you think you can kill me with physical skills? Third generation sneered. You'll know later. After that, Kuan Yu's body disappeared instantly. So fast. Everyone was shocked, and even they couldn't see Kuan Yu's movements clearly. Third generation was also slightly surprised. Sharingan appeared in his eyes, but he still couldn't see Kuan Yu's movements clearly. Bang! Third generation felt a huge force suddenly appeared behind him, and kicked him into the air. I have the blessing of Shanshu chakra. The high purity chakra makes my power soar. You'd better use all your strength. Kuan Yu looked at third generation who was kicked by him, and then squatted suddenly, and a big hole appeared on the ground in an instant. And Kuan Yu's figure disappeared again. And Kuan Yu, who disappeared, appeared in front of third generation in an instant. One punch hit third generation's face severely. Third generation's body was beaten to fly out, but Kuan Yu appeared behind third generation. It was another blow. He was constantly attacking around the third generation, faster and faster, almost invisible. You can only see the fist marks constantly appearing on third generation's body. Nice physique, his physique has improved a lot, Madara smiled. It seems that his previous guess is correct, but this level of physical skill is useless for him, even though it is powerful. Enough, third generation suddenly shot and grabbed Kuan Yu's fist. The violent airwaves suddenly exploded. There was a 4-leaf clover mark in his eyes, he turned on Mangekyo, and a layer of black appeared on his hand. This level of injury has no effect on me at all. The injury on third generation's face is recovering quickly. Really, I just warmed up just now, and the 6th floor is activated for me, Kuan Yu smiled coldly. The purple chakra on his body rose to the sky. With this purity of chakra and this degree of pressure, third generation can't help but shrink. Kuan Yu hit third generation's belly instantly. Bang! Third generation glared, and the clothes behind him were all torn apart, and even a wave of air exploded behind him. Third generation directly spit out blood. Compared with the previous attack, this attack has a qualitative improvement, and the violent chakra directly broke through his body. Even Madara frowned slightly. Even if he is now hit by this blow, he is afraid that he will be injured, and Kuan Yu's speed is very fast. Third generation's hand was also released by this attack. Kuan Yu directly grabbed third generation's hand and slammed third generation directly to the ground. The speed is quite fast, almost in a flash. Boom. Large swaths of smoke splashed away, and the violent air currents made everyone who watched the game raise their hands to block it. Kuan Yu glanced there indifferently, and his body slowly landed. Very well, Kuan Yu, you are indeed a genius, and you have practiced the techniques you created to this level, but you who have lost the eyes of the blue 10 stars can no longer be my opponent. No, you are not my opponent even if I don't do this. Low-pitched words sounded in the sky of smoke. Everyone felt a powerful chakra rising from there, which was definitely not weaker than Kuan Yu's, but it gave people a feeling of cold disgust. The pale black chakra flame rose into the sky, and all the smoke and dust were repelled. You stay away, Quan Yu ordered to the spectators. The pale black chakra began to condense, and a huge figure rose quickly. This is Susanoo. It's big, Sasuke said in surprise. Let's leave. This kind of battle is not something we can participate in, Itachi said loudly. Sasuke nodded, then stepped away. The others were also quite shocked, but they did not hesitate to quickly flee towards the distance. Obviously once they are affected, it is almost dead. Total Susanoo, really a little capable, Madara said with a chuckle. He has long known that third generation is capturing bloodline ninjas and obtaining bloodline of others through fusion. He would not let go of the bloodline of Sharingan, and even has Hashirama cells. It's just that he didn't expect him to be able to turn on the full Susanoo. It seems that absorbing so much bloodline has increased his strength a lot. With the addition of 8 tails, it is indeed possible to turn on the full body's Susanoo. There may be things he doesn't know, but he doesn't care, this level is nothing to him. The huge figure was shrouded in a black robe, with a seal on his hand. It looks a little mysterious. However, it is clear that third generation is opened for the first time, and the molding speed is a bit slow. The cloak converged and became a huge warrior with wings. This pale black warrior is so huge, standing there like a god. Compared with it, the mountains next to it are already a little short. And third generation's body is slowly floating, entering a crystal structure on Susanoo's forehead. Quan Yu, you should have been able to use this move before, but can you still do it if you lose one eye? Hee, what a powerful force, it's a pity you are gone. Third generation sneered. Susanoo waved his hand suddenly, and a long blade quickly stretched out from its arm, and the blade cut directly through the ground. A sword light even stretched out, bringing up the billowing smoke and dust and flooded Quan Yu here. Even the lake not far from them was cut open by this sword chi, and a huge wave was set off. It drives Madara's body up and down on the water. So strong. Quan Yu is okay, Terumi Mei said in horror. Such an astonishing attack can almost directly destroy a ninja army. This level is nothing to Quan Yu. Itachi's eyes were slightly solemn. In fact, he hasn't always been clear about how strong Quan Yu is, because Quan Yu rarely shows his power. Bang, the smoke and dust shrouded there was instantly shaken away by an inexplicable force. Quan Yu slowly flew up. The attack just now did not affect him. Do you think Susanoo can stop me? Quan Yu levitated to the same height as third generation. The purple chakra drove his hair to float slightly, and then instantly formed a purple robe on Quan Yu's body. The chakra, which was originally distributed wantonly, was condensed by Quan Yu. Compared to 8 inner gates, chakra derived from Quan Yu's breathing method is more controlled. And Quan Yu did this to burst out stronger power. Really, you who lost one eye have no other tricks, third generation said lightly. Obviously, Quan Yu obviously wanted to use physical skills to fight the enemy. In his opinion, this was already lacking in guilt. No, it's just that you are not worth my use. Quan Yu's body disappeared instantly, then appeared directly in front of third generation. Bang, Quan Yu hit Susanoo with one punch. Third generation doesn't care, the complete Susanoo will not be broken so easily. Click. Third generation's expression was shocked. He actually saw a crack on Susanoo, what a powerful force it was. Even Susanoo's head moved back a bit. Except for being bigger, this thing is not enough to see in front of my eyes, Quan Yu said, looking at third generation who was close at hand. After speaking, chakra exploded in Quan Yu's other hand, and he was about to attack Susanoo directly. But third generation would not let him do this. Call. The howling wind sounded from behind Quan Yu, and one of Quan Yu's eyes swept slightly. It turned out that Susanoo's huge hand was patted towards Quan Yu. Snapped. Boom. 2 voices sounded at the same time, only to see Susanoo's giant hand hit Quan Yu's place, and he was instantly bounced off. Quan Yu slowly put away his feet. Even Madara's eyes shrank, so strong, she actually used her body to directly resist Susanoo. Although it is impossible for third generation to use its full strength in this hit, it is also strong enough. Hee, it's really strong enough. This should be prepared by you for Uchiha Madara. It turns out that you were delaying time to practice this. Third generation didn't care at all that Quan Yu could actually compete with Susanoo. If Quan Yu had no hole cards, how could he return Rinnegan to Madara? Susanoo stepped back a few steps, then turned into a light spot and disintegrated, and third generation was still floating there. Obviously, Quan Yu will undoubtedly hit the mosquitoes with the cannon with this move. And it's still a mosquito that is a bit threatening to him. It's time for you to see the ultimate power. Really? Hurry up, when you are resolved, I have other battles, Quan Yu said lightly. Of course he knows that third generation is going to use 6 paths mode, With 8 tails, he should be able to show all the truth-seeking balls. You still care about yourself. Third generation's face was turning white. It wasn't that he was injured. It was his skin that was turning white. His body was constantly changing, and a long robe stretched out from his body. An inexplicable force was radiating from his body. This is impossible, this. Even Madara was shocked. He clearly knows what state this is, but apart from 10 tails Jinchuriki, it is basically impossible for anyone to do it. A pair of small horns appeared on third generation's forehead. As soon as he stretched out his hand, a black stick appeared, and many black balls appeared behind him. The small black ball formed a ring around him. With Sharingan in my eyes, the white skin and small horns don't look weird, but a sense of majesty. The third generation held the long stick. I mastered the power of yin and yang and the 5 elements, and merged them, and finally became this kind of power. This is the ultimate power. Did you see Kuan Yu? This is my trump card. You can't hurt me at all, ha ha ha. Third generation laughed and said, "Are we going to shoot?" Obito came to Madara and said gloomily. He did not expect that this person actually mastered the 6 paths mode. Before depending on the situation, he took 8 tails Jinchuriki and used the tail beast to provide him with chakra. Swallowing bloodline ninja, that's it. This is how he entered 6 paths mode. Madara frowned and said. Obviously Madara had guessed something. However, the situation has lost control, and he is also hesitant to do it now. Then he saw Kuan Yu, who still had no change in expression. No, let's see how Kuan Yu does. If he fails, we will also directly carry out the plan, Madara said coldly. He knows how strong the 6 paths mode is, and it is impossible for a general attack to harm third generation. Not even the current one. Is that right? I remember you used this thing before, but it didn't work for me, Kuan Yu said lightly. Hee. This time is different, third generation sneered. A black ball flew out instantly, very fast, and arrived in front of Kuan Yu in an instant. Kuan Yu directly patted the truth-seeking ball as soon as he stretched out his hand. What? Madara's eyes widened. Truth-seeking ball was shot flying like this. Obito couldn't believe it. This thing has a decomposing ability, but it can't decompose natural energy. It is just a more convenient weapon for me of Master Shanshu, Kuan Yu said. That's it. Third generation said with a smile. He only now knows why Kuan Yu was not broken down by truth-seeking ball. It turned out to be the reason for Shanshu. Madara didn't speak. In this case, the threat of truth-seeking ball to Kuan Yu was greatly reduced. But truth-seeking ball is not that simple. The truth-seeking ball, which was originally hit by Kuan Yu, flew back again and quickly turned red, sending out strong waves, as if one of the energy was expanding. Kuan Yu looked over. Boom! The white light flooded there in an instant, and everything around was wrapped in white light. The huge explosion destroyed everything there. Fortunately, Itachi and the others retreated far enough because of the changes just now, otherwise they would also be affected. They also watched this scene in horror. They didn't expect that just a small ball could trigger an explosion of such intensity. The violent wind blew Uchiha Madara's armor, and the expression on his face remained unchanged. The smoke was filled, and the white light gradually disappeared. And Kuan Yu, in a purple robe, still stood there unscathed. The barrier that truth-seeking ball turned into is restored to truth-seeking ball, and the figure of third generation appears again. He saw the unharmed Kuan Yu's face slightly changed, but he immediately thought of something. Oh, I can still use the spatial ability. Third generation gave a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Kuan Yu's spatial ability is indeed difficult to deal with. No matter how strong his attack is, there is no way to break through the space. You are going to keep hiding like this? Third generation looked in the direction of Itachi and others in the distance. Kuan Yu understands the meaning of third generation. Once he continues to hide in the space, third generation will attack Itachi and the others, even the Sky City in the sky. No, I will kill you head on. Kuan Yu's body disappeared instantly. A successful smile appeared on third generation's face. And Kuan Yu has appeared next to third generation, hitting third generation's face with a punch. But in an instant, a truth-seeking ball appeared there and turned into a barrier. It directly blocked Kuan Yu's attack, and even third generation's body did not move a bit. At this moment, the barrier was instantly attached to Kuan Yu's hand. He frowned, but this was the truth-seeking ball, and he couldn't break free. The long rod that third generation turned into with the truth-seeking ball swept directly at Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu's arm was restricted by the truth-seeking ball, and he couldn't move fast at all. Reluctantly, he could only reach out his hand to block the stick. Bang! The stick hit Kuan Yu's arm. Although the strength was strong, it could not hurt Kuan Yu. Kuan Yu was not knocked into the air because of the truth-seeking ball. Kuan Yu took this opportunity to kick to third generation. But it was still blocked by the truth-seeking ball, and wrapped around his legs, restricting his feet. I see how you run away, third generation sneered. Although truth-seeking ball cannot harm Kuan Yu, it can also restrict his actions. Third generation launched a fierce attack on Kuan Yu, and the black long staff was danced out of phantom by him. Kuan Yu was restricted with one hand and one foot, and his movements were deformed, and he was hit by third generation many times. Third generation stretched out his hand, and the truth-seeking ball behind him also joined in. Bang bang bang. Kuan Yu simply could not withstand the rapid attack of truth-seeking ball in this situation. And third generation stepped aside, quietly watching Kuan Yu, who was constantly attacked by truth-seeking ball. Kuan Yu was quite embarrassed at this time. Even the chakra on the surface of the body was dissipated a lot, but fortunately, it was just physical damage. Kuan Yu's body was strong enough and protected by chakra, so he suffered too much damage. The activation of the sixth layer greatly increased his resilience, and the damage caused by these attacks was instantly restored. And third generation did not control the explosion of truth-seeking ball, covering Kuan Yu just to restrain him. And if Kuan Yu dared to enter the space, he would directly control these truth-seeking ball explosions. The truth-seeking ball attached to Kuan Yu will also follow him into his space. This is what he wants. Do you feel that you are very powerless? I can give you a chance to assist me. After all, it is a shame that such an excellent person has been killed. Third generation said leisurely. Haha, dreaming, Kuan Yu resisted in embarrassment, but there was no expression on his face. It seems that you still don't give up, so you can die for me, third generation said coldly. He let go of the stick, and the stick floated beside him, and then made a few seals in his hand. Land done. Lightning strike, a large amount of blue chakra shrouded third generation's body, accompanied by a faint thunder, but not fierce. Then it instantly decomposed into countless balls of light, shrouded in Kuan Yu's surroundings. Kuan Yu frowned. Go to hell, with a wave of third generation's hand, these light balls shot out a blue beam in an instant. Countless light beams directly shot at Kuan Yu, very fast. This is the bloodline that combines lightning style and water style, which retains the speed of thunder, but also has the stability of water style. After being gathered into a bundle, it has a strong cutting ability, similar to Sasuke's Chidori sharp gun. The power is quite powerful. Once he is hit in the body, Kuan Yu will be injured no matter how strong it is. And with so many, if Kuan Yu didn't want a solution, he might really die. The truth-seeking ball's attack has not stopped. Kuan Yu is still embarrassed, and soon he is about to meet the third generation's land done attack. The people watching from a distance, their hearts jump to their throats. But they can't do anything. Lightning style, black thunder. A large number of black thunder and lightning emerged from Kuan Yu's body and quickly wrapped Kuan Yu. Third generation frowned. He controlled the truth-seeking ball to annihilate these black thunders, but it seemed to have no effect. The black thunder and lightning quickly woven into a black ball, wrapping Kuan Yu in it. The blue light beam hits it and disappears directly. Black thunder secret art, Darui said in surprise. He also didn't expect Kuan Yu to use this technique to resist Lan Dun. Black thunder is extremely annihilating energy, and Lan Dun's beam hits it and is quickly annihilated. And it contains natural energy, which not only becomes stronger, but also will not be annihilated by truth-seeking ball. Third generation thought for a while, and probably understood why truth-seeking ball could not annihilate Kuan Yu's ninjutsu. But this kind of attack is useless to truth-seeking ball. Although Kuan Yu's body is invisible, the truth-seeking ball still shuttles and bombards Kuan Yu. The surrounding chakra balls slowly disintegrated, the beam disappeared, and Kuan Yu dispersed the black thunder. Then Lan Shixing's eyes lit up. Originally, his hands and legs that had wrapped the truth-seeking ball disappeared directly, and then his body completely disappeared and appeared not far away. Kuan Yu took advantage of the opportunity of blocking the third generation's vision just now, and finally manipulated the space changes, wrapping the place wrapped by the truth-seeking ball with space, and then all entered the space, free from the shackles of the truth-seeking ball. That is, hollow like Obito. Otherwise, truth-seeking ball will follow Kuan Yu into the space. He still doesn't want to expose his space abilities so quickly. Third generation was also surprised. Kuan Yu's use of spatial ability did not bring his truth-seeking ball into the space. How did he do it? You know that his truth-seeking ball is attached to Kuan Yu's body. How does Kuan Yu get around this restriction? Call after Kuan Yu came out, he let out a sigh of relief. Then the body slowly fell. Hee hee, do you want to help? Madara's voice came from a distance. He didn't know when he had moved over. I don't know if he is talking to Quan Yu or third generation. No, it will be over soon. Quan Yu fell to the ground and said. You are really arrogant. Third generation also fell. But if you are going to deal with Quan Yu with me, I can save your life later. Hee. I will give you the same. You are really arrogant. Madara smiled disdainfully. Wait to clean up you, third generation sneered. Quan Yu looked at third generation with no expression. It's time for you to see what I have prepared for a long time. Quan Yu squatted slightly and took a deep breath. Third generation's look changed. He actually felt the air around him shaking. And chakra, who had been controlled by Quan Yu's body, began to linger again. The ground was also shaking, and some small stones were directly shattered. Along with Quan Yu's increasingly strong heartbeat, the air around Quan Yu was directly squeezed away, forming a violent wind. The wind blows third generation and Madara's eyes narrowed. This change in Quan Yu brought them a strong sense of danger and oppression. Activate the 7 layers, open me. Quan Yu's breathing became thicker. The veins on his forehead burst. Then the violent purple chakra rose to the sky again, and the chakra wave, which was stronger than before, enveloped the surroundings. And the color is still changing, slowly turning into golden yellow. Quan Yu could feel his body being fully activated, and infinite power exploded in his body. There is no obstacle to the transmission of chakra between cells, even the cells seem to turn golden. Quan Yu's hair also exploded and turned into golden yellow. Sure enough, he really reached that level, but how long can you last in this state? Madara thought, hugging her arms. Before that, he guessed that Quan Yu might practice the breathing secret technique similar to 8 inner gates to the limit, using it as a trump card to fight him. But this kind of secret technique is very harmful to the body. Even if Quan Yu will not die after using it, it will take a long time to cultivate before using it again. What are you going to do with me after that? Madara pulled a smile at the corner of her mouth. This is. Third generation looked at the golden spring in surprise. At this time, Quan Yu chakra even felt a little scary for him. The purity of this chakra is higher, as if it has been compressed, it has undergone a qualitative change. Quan Yu's eyes were filled with incomparable indifference. Bang! Before third generation could react, it was knocked into the air. Even the truth-seeking ball didn't catch up with third generation, and one can imagine the speed of third generation's back blow. The huge airwave directly lifted the land away, and this kind of attack was only done by Quan Yu with his fist, without using chakra. It seemed that Quan Yu's fist directly moved the air. Is this kind of speed really achievable? Madara's eyes also appeared horrified. Even his Rinnegan just barely saw some afterimages. Damn. Bang! The third generation, which had just been knocked into the air, hadn't been flying far in the air before being knocked into the air again and appeared in the air. Some blood was faintly sprinkled with teeth. Bang bang bang. Numerous fists fell on third generation's body, and third generation's body was beaten like cotton candy. In an instant, I was ravaged by Quan Yu into a human form. At this time, the truth-seeking ball flew back to third generation, and directly wrapped him up completely, forming a big black ball. Quan Yu hit it, but there was no movement. What? I still can't break the defense, Sasuke said in shock from a distance. Anyone with a discerning eye knows that Quan Yu may have used a secret technique to greatly strengthen his speed and strength. Even strengthened to the point of inhuman. But even so, it still can't break third generation's defense. Quan Yu stopped, did not continue to attack, but backed away for a certain distance. It didn't take long for third generation's face to appear on the black ball. Awesome. If it were not for your inability to break my defenses, I would not have any resistance in front of you. His distorted face was quickly recovering. It's a pity how long can you hold on, using this level of secret technique, but at a considerable price, third generation said with a sneer. He couldn't know the price of 8 inner gates more clearly, and Quan Yu's secret technique of strengthening the body could not last long. I really thought I couldn't break your tortoise shell, Quan Yu sneered on his face. Third generation was taken aback. Ha ha ha, you can try. I have time to play with you slowly. Third generation retracted into the black ball. Obviously he wanted to clean up Quan Yu after Quan Yu's state was over. Madara also looked at Quan Yu. He was curious how Quan Yu would break the defense of truth-seeking ball. As far as he knows, this is basically impossible. Quan Yu disappeared in a flash. Everyone thought that Quan Yu was already launching an attack. But Madara didn't see Quan Yu moving, and disappeared out of thin air. Quan Yu entered the space. This made Madara also stunned. What is he going to do? Escape? But then he shook his head, it was impossible. It didn't take long before Quan Yu came out. and seeing Kuan Yu again, Madara couldn't help but shrink her pupils. Because he saw that Kuan Yu's originally damaged eyes had recovered, but how could this be possible? The others were a little far away and didn't see this scene. After shaping, Kuan Yu came out. He used shaping for the first time. He can't maintain the 7-layer activation for too long. And third generation's defense is built with all his truth-seeking balls, and it's not that simple to break through. Although he may be stronger than the guy who started the 8th gate, it is not enough. He is stronger. The golden-yellow chakra exploding on Kuan Yu's body slowly calmed down, and then began to converge into his body under the action of reshaping. Even the skin has returned to its normal color, but the hair is still standing and golden. Even Madara was shocked. Chakra of this level can be suppressed. I'm afraid this is the power of his eyes. No wonder he wants to restore his eyes. Madara thought to herself. And Madara also guessed right. Kuan Yu can also use shaping for one eye, but it is absolutely impossible to completely converge to this degree of chakra. And third generation wrapped in truth-seeking ball also felt something. Kuan Yu's chakra disappeared, then appeared, and then disappeared, leaving him with some doubts. But he didn't want to go out now. Kuan Yu's attack was too terrifying. If it weren't for truth-seeking ball, he would be beaten to death. He decided to wait for a while before talking. Anyway, Kuan Yu couldn't break his defense. But the second time chakra disappeared by Kuan Yu, he felt a breath of danger. Outside world. Kuan Yu's body shook, and his muscles swelled up. Obviously, it is now that Kuan Yu has some difficulty in suppressing these chakras. This shortened the time for him to maintain the activation of the 7th floor. It started. Kuan Yu didn't wait any longer. The air seemed to be an explosion, and Kuan Yu's body instantly disappeared in place. Bang bang bang. The constant beating sound rang out, and waves of air exploded directly. The ground is constantly being destroyed. The shock that Kuan Yu bombarded the truth-seeking ball continued to spread, and the ground was cracking. Even Madara looked horrified, and he kept backing away. The space there seemed to be distorted, and Kuan Yu's attack had already affected the space. If it were him now, he might not even be able to withstand a single blow. This has exceeded the limit of human strength. But the truth-seeking ball still stopped in the air, as if nothing had changed. But the third generation inside had already felt the change, and he spouted a mouthful of blood. The fluctuations formed by Kuan Yu's attack actually spread inside, causing him to be seriously injured. He couldn't imagine that without the protection of the truth-seeking ball, he was afraid that he would die on the spot if he couldn't survive a single blow. It's horrible. How did Kuan Yu do it? This is just physical exercises. What he didn't know was that Kuan Yu's attack had distorted the space. Although the truth-seeking ball was weakened, the shock of the space would still affect him. No, I have to insist, he won't be able to sustain such a strong attack for long. There was a cruel flash in third generation's eyes. But, click, a crisp sound made third generation's heart frightened. This is impossible. Click, 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 click. The cracking sound kept ringing. There is no way to see Kuan Yu outside, only that everything around the truth-seeking ball has been destroyed, and the truth-seeking ball is also full of cracks. As if it will be destroyed in the next moment. At this time, bang, the truth-seeking ball directly turned into the sky and disappeared, and the third generation appeared in the sky full of horror. Unbelief, unwillingness, resentment, and despair flashed in his eyes. Farewell. Kuan Yu indifferently threw a punch at third generation. Third generation wanted to escape, but Kuan Yu's speed was too fast to give him a chance to react at all, and Flying Thunder God simply couldn't use it. He hasn't been able to use Flying Thunder God like fourth generation. Before Kuan Yu's fist touched third generation, the upper part of third generation's body was directly shaken to pieces, and the other stumps fell. Kuan Yu and the 8 tails in third generation were also killed. Anyway, Killer Bee is not dead yet, and there is 8 tails chakra in his body. 8 tails will find him, and he can slowly resurrect. Because Kuan Yu's 7th floor activation time is approaching, he won't wait until third generation is relieved. Or run away. Seeing the death of third generation, Kuan Yu also let out a sigh of relief. But, puff, a stream of blood was also spit out from Kuan Yu's mouth. The golden color on his hair receded quickly, and his original strong aura gradually weakened. Cough cough. It seems that there will be more exercise in the future. It is over so soon. Kuan Yu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Although his physical strength is very high and his whole body is not broken like Guy, the physical injury is still very serious. And the potential is also consumed a lot. Although the recovery is not slow, it also takes a long time before it can be used again. Papa. A burst of applause sounded.